This month on our show, we're diving into the unused script for Spider-Man 2 titled Amazing Spider-Man, written by David Koepp, who wrote the first movie. It still has Doc Ock, but it also has Gwen Stacy. It's got more Dr. Connors, and it's got Peter Parker's parents. We're diving into how the script not only laid out the blueprint for Spider-Man 2, but also Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. This is Superhero Stuff You Should Know. Welcome, everybody, to Superhero Stuff You Should Know, or Spider-Man Stuff You Should Know. This is the Amazing Spider-Ben, and with me is Alfie, as usual. Everybody say hi to everyone, Alfie.
Isn't it too early for cameos?
He's going to shoot some webs and everything during this
Hold on, I got a prop. Hold on.
What's your prop? And then with me is my usual co-host, whose name is oh wow, you got Alex has the cover for Spider-Man No More, or Spider-Man number 50, Amazing Spider-Man 50. I got like the small reprint version that came with the DVD of Spider-Man 2. So we got ours here. But yeah, with me is
Brady. What do you got?
He's got something.
Copy of Spider-Man 2.1.
Nice. Yes.
Had that since I was a little kid.
So with us is Brady, who's the co-host of Flashbacks with Alex. He was also the voice actor of Superman in the Superman 2025 audio drama that I co-wrote and co-starred in. And he was the main star of that and brought the, our version of the David Cornsweet Superman to life. So welcome, Brady, to Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me. Big fan of this podcast, as you guys know, because we're friends, obviously. But for the audience, I'm excited to be on the show and talk about this script with you guys.
Yeah, this was one of Alex's finds too, where he's like, "Hey, I want to talk about this," and it's called, it's from David Koepp, who is credited as the writer on the first Spider-Man film, and yet he's not credited on the second one.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it does feel weird. So
they
it kind of like,
off.
What's the arbitration? What stuff comes from who, type of thing. He also
this is relevant because he wrote that Disclosure Day movie.
Yeah,
that's out now.
He also wrote that shitty Jurassic World movie I saw recently.
Well, didn't he also?
I haven't seen any of the Jurassic World movies.
He wrote the first Jurassic Park. Yeah, I think he wrote the first Jurassic Park. Yeah. Okay. He's been around for a long time. He wrote the Shadow movie in the 90s, which I'm sure other people our fans will want us to cover at some point. Yeah, we'll cover at some point. But yeah, David Koepp has been around a lot. Also, great Michael Keaton movie with The Paper. I talked to Halsey about in the last monthly meetup. But anyway, David Koepp has basically credited on the first movie, wrote the script for the Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie. Originally had the script where it was Green Goblin and Doc Ock. Then they cut Doc Ock out of it. And now Doc Ock comes back in the second one. And kind of like what Brady brought up, I was kind of surprised from reading this script titled Amazing Spider-Man that David Koepp doesn't get a story credit on this. And so I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. There's so much of this movie in here. There's a lot that's different, but there's so much of this movie in here. And I looked it up and found that, the ones credited on this are Al Gough and Miles Miller from Smallville fame. Shout out.
I've never heard of them. I don't know who that
is. I know. I suddenly I don't know who those guys are.
Yeah. What is this Smallville you speak of?
This is Smallville.
It's a Smallville.
Alien freaks. These starts are real. Anyway,
Smallville season 2, written entirely by David Koepp.
Oh man, that'd be interesting. Yeah, but yeah, Koepp worked on the draft, so potentially what it looks like is maybe Gough and Miller wrote a version first, and then this is Koepp's version later. I mean, it only has David Koepp's name on it, but we've also seen instances in the past of other stuff. What do you think, Brady?
If you look at the date on this was written like a week after the first movie was released in the theaters.
This
was a 2002 script.
Chamber.
So he just had this like right after the first movie releases in theaters.
Yeah, and it would make sense too.
He's the first guy that takes a pass on it, and then Gough and Miller come in later and put their own spin to it.
Yeah, you would think that
and Alvin Sargent too.
Yeah, and Michael Chabon, but like I think he would at least get a story by credit, because like you just lay it out. I mean, if Sam Hamm gets a credit on Batman Returns just because he had Penguin and Catwoman in Christmas, and that was pretty much it.
that made it treasure hunting thing in the fetish movie.
I'm like, Koepp has way more of his stuff from this script than what's in the actual movie.
I wish they would have actually made his script instead of Batman Returns, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I got to do it for audio.
I know. I listened to that.
But yeah, we are going to do the
Brady, you're a guest on here. Let's not alienate you with the controversial takes.
I know. If I say controversial shit, it gets you guys more views.
Yeah.
We'll see. Or in the comment section. We'll see what happens.
That too.
But we're going to do a beat for beat thing of what happens in the script. And you guys have read it too. And we're going to kind of have our commentary on what happens in this. So Koepp over the years. Let's do it now.
Come on.
Koepp over the years has uploaded different drafts of scripts to his website. It's a treasure trove of all these different scripts. The thing is, I think he doesn't really filter out which ones might be duplicates, because when we first tackled this, I was like, guys, there are 4 drafts from David Koepp.
Yeah.
Come on, Koepp.
And I was like, dude, how different are these? Are we going to all read all 4 drafts only to find that he changed a word here or there? So what it really was, I narrowed it down, that there are actually only 2 drafts. There are duplicates on there. It's a July 11th draft that he started on, and then I guess the next day, July 12th, which is the one that we read, the more refined version, he made a few small changes, and I have a list of what those things are that we'll go over at the end. But we went off the July 12th more refined draft for this episode. So let's go into it. We open with voiceover, once again, of Peter Parker, sort of carrying that over from the first movie and what we see in the beginning of the movie itself in Spider-Man 2. Peter Parker, however, is not delivering pizzas. I kind of missed that. But he's balancing himself on a chair in his room and doing these acrobatics, and his voiceover is asking, who am I?
Much more budget-friendly opening.
Well, you say that. It's budget-friendly for now. Just wait until we get later into this script, because this seems like an expensive-ass movie.
Yeah.
You think so?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think we'll compare it. So, similar to the movie, we go to Aunt May's house. It's Peter's birthday, specifically his 21st birthday. So again, similar first scene where it's very similar to the movie. We've got Peter, MJ, and Aunt May. But in this version, they're watching slides of photos from Peter's childhood. Harry arrives a little later. Harry now, just like in the movie, runs Oscorp, and he gives Peter a gift. In this version, he gives him a camera because, he's a photographer for the Daily Bugle still.
I kind of really liked this scene. Like, I liked Harry's introduction in here a little bit more than I liked, like, necessarily the other one. Like, they seem more like friends here, kind of at the beginning.
Because, like, Harry has a few friendly moments in the movie, and then he's just, like, taking pictures of your friend.
He immediately turns on him.
Comes out a lot less hostile from the jump in this version, and I definitely
maybe that's just James Franco.
maybe, but at least in this script, what we envisioned, there's more of a friendly rapport between the two of them. They chime in on making fun of Peter's old photos until shit gets serious when they see a photo of Peter with his parents, and so he's kind of thinking about how little he remembers his actual parents. And so, yes, just like I said at the very beginning of the intro, we do deal with stuff of Peter's parents, foreshadowing the Amazing Spider-Man. Not Amazing Spider-Man, which is the name of this script. There's no but the Amazing Spider-Man. Harry outside approaches his Ferrari and tells Peter, he knows Spider-Man killed his father. He saw Spider-Man over his father's dead body. And so he asks Peter, you must know who he is. So similar beat, like in the movie.
Yeah.
Peter lies, says that he doesn't. And Harry says, well, then I'll be the first to find out.
Well, he kind of gives him an opportunity here. Like, he kind of does that thing where he's just like, look, you tell me right now, basically, that, because I trust you, you're my friend. You tell me this right now that, like, you don't know who he is, and, like, we won't talk about it again, basically. Yeah, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Brady.
Oh, I also I appreciate that Harry decided to wait till the party was fucking over to be like, you know who the bug is? He killed my father. I need to know.
There's more respect there. Like,
yeah. Because, like, in the movie, like, Ben, like, we all brought up, it's just, like, he does that in the middle of Aunt May's house with tears streaming down his face like a member of fucking My Chemical Romance.
Well, this dude...
the bug killed my father. You still take
kind of a dick. Like, do we not remember in the first one where, like, he just snaps at MJ, where he's like, why don't you keep your mouth shut about things you don't understand and stuff like that.
You don't understand.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That, or he just steals Peter's tidbit about science so he can get with MJ. He's like, spiders.
Like, hey, it's a good adaptation because Harry Osborn sucks.
Yeah,
in the comics.
Yeah, Koepp's Osborn definitely does feel this. For the most part, it feels more in line with everybody except for Peter's characterization from the first movie. There's more that we can talk about later on when it comes to Peter that I think doesn't feel really like he did in the first movie. But like I said, we'll leave that for later.
I was feeling a little bit of that with MJ.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe, MJ's a little different here too.
I feel MJ's like we'll get into it, but I think MJ's personality starts feeling more comic booky. Yeah. So on that note, Peter runs into MJ as she goes to the house next door, and MJ talks about how she's got, they catch up. She talks about how she's got an audition the next day, but it seems like she doesn't think she'll get it. She then mentions that she's met someone, but in this script, there's not Jameson's son. She says it's a guy named Jeff. Who came Jeff. I know that was such a good thing too. My name is Jeff. Yeah, a guy named Jeff.
Yeah, it's fucking Channing Tatum from 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, I know. So in this version, I guess she's still at the diner because we remember in the first one when they're talking about like, oh, you're doing it, MJ,
she's at the
Moon
Dance Diner. That's right.
Hey,
I forgot about that.
Mary Jane, I'm talking to you.
Yeah,
Miss Watson, I'm talking to you. God, I love that first movie so much.
It's so good. Yeah. She also gives Peter a kiss and drops hints that she suspects that he's Spider-Man, which is one of the big differences now. Outside of stuff that was like aside of the obviously Harper stuff, but here's an MJ thing where, as opposed to the final version, this one she already figured out at the end of Spider-Man 1 from the kiss, similar to Chase Meridian in Batman Forever, that he's Spider-Man.
They retconned it in the second one. In the movie, like they kind of retcon it like, oh, she's not sure. But in this one, I kind of like what does everybody else think of this? The kind of whole thing where she's teasing him, like, I know this about you, but I'm waiting for you to tell me.
I like it. I
like do it too.
Yeah,
I like it because I recently grew more of a liking to Spider-Man 2 over the past few months.
As in you rewatched it.
I know, rewatched it. And but I don't like that they kind of regress MJ's character a little bit in that movie, where she just kind of forgets the kiss. Almost, it seems like she forgets the kiss her and Peter had at the end of the first movie. And so it's like, you can see at the end of the first one, the look in her face, she like touches her lips and she knows because of the upside down kiss that she was making out with Spider-Man. So I like that this is kind of a mystery throughout the entire script of like, is he going to tell her? Does she know? Like, she very obviously knows, but the big mystery is he going to tell her? And I really like that they have that element in here.
Yeah, it also gives MJ an opportunity to have that playfulness from the comics, which is what we were talking about, like personality-wise. Like the way she's characterized with what poor Kirsten Dunst had to play was a lot of times just very mopey in these movies. And it's like, oh, poor me.
She does have her moments, though. I'll give her this. She does have like her moments where like she's very like she feels like she's from New York. Like where like there's that moment in the second one where she like whistles at like Doc Ock to be like, hey, I'm talking to you or something like that. And there's other moments too like that where she stands up for herself. I'm like, no, this is like they forget that they're from New York sometimes. She very much feels like she came from New York.
There's definitely a comic book playfulness in terms of like, oh, nothing can get me down type of feeling to the comic book MJ from when she was introduced that obviously this version doesn't really have, but you can kind of see what Koepp's doing is like, oh, like she's evolved into that, or at least plays around or is more playful with Peter with his whole secret thing.
Well, she's
it
also
feels
got
like
a lot of
the MTV show.
Yeah, a lot of the burdens are away too because she's not around her abusive dad anymore. So like maybe she's doing a little better that way.
Yeah. So that could be it. But anyway, Peter obviously still denies the whole thing about him being Spider-Man. He goes back inside and we get more of the stuff of the parents, Aunt May gives him an envelope left to him by Richard and Mary Parker to be opened on his 21st birthday, which they gave shortly before.
What the hell is that art?
This is the classic art of when he meets his parents. Don't you guys know the
Bagley,
story?
Man, come on.
It's just Mary. Her face looks a little bit weird. Maybe it's just the angle I'm sitting at from my computer.
I was laughing because it just literally looks like Peter with like some gray in his temples. That's the only reason I was laughing.
And then Mary Jane with shorter hair.
Yeah, basically. That's why I was laughing.
He's got a type. Yeah, now this is the storyline of when they, quote unquote, come back and he meets them again. But no, that's not what we do here. But this is, I asked Dan to have the comic book versions of Richard and Mary Parker for this. But yeah, they gave an envelope, and Peter wonders, did they know something was going to happen to them? Aunt May doesn't know. But inside this envelope is a letter, photo, and a key that leads him to the National Trust Bank, where there's a safety deposit box. And there's a letter basically saying that they worked not for S.H.I.E.L.D. Damn it. I know, I was really hoping. But they worked for the Department of Defense. Neogenic technology is what it's called. And they hid the most essential component, the image refractor, so it could not be weaponized. Basically, a lot of sci-fi gobbledygook. That the most important part is hidden somewhere.
So, like the Spider-Man animated series, so like a lot of stuff was taken from Spider-Man the animated series. As soon as I heard neogenic, I thought of the neogenic nightmare from that.
Yes.
Oh, spider. Yeah. Like I heard that shit. And I was just like, oh my god, are we doing it?
No.
Yeah. So they mentioned that they also had a third scientist. The Parkers had a third scientist who was part of the project. Wonder who that's going to be. And Peter finds
Michael Morbius.
Yeah,
he's gonna morb everywhere,
and Blade's going after him. Peter finds the image refractor, and it's like this crystal device that's the size of an egg, and decides, I gotta hide it. And so our debut of Spider-Man in this movie finally comes here, where he's web slinging through buildings so he can hide the device. I'm like, this is not nearly as exciting as the pizza thing.
Dude, yeah, I thought of this exact shot when I read it in the script too.
I know, because the flagpole, right? He goes to this flagpole, and that's where he decides to hide it. And I was like, Dan, pull up that image of that flagpole. And
he literally mentions that it's what he swung off of in the last movie.
Yeah.
True, huh?
In the script.
That's why we were thinking about it. And then Spider-Man sees a carjacker and says, if there's one thing I hate, it's a carjacker. Which I was like, okay, fair reference to the killer of Uncle
is that
Ben
the one thing he hates? Pretty sure he hates a bunch of other things too.
One
thing I hate is this.
Yeah, I don't think he's thinking too hard about that in that moment.
No, one thing I hate is people that break into illegal wrestling matches and steal money and then kill my uncle. That's the one thing I hate.
Burglars with frosted tips that are from fucking 2001.
Guy Fieri, watch out.
Guy Fieri Jr. that he pushed out of a window.
Yeah. So Spider-Man stops the carjacker. Yeah. No, Spider-Man stops the carjacker, who seems to be trying to attack the tourists, who are his victims, and then he yells at the carjacker not to point guns at people, which I expected a more memorable line here about that, but okay. I guess he's traumatized by the carjacker. But then the tourists seem angry that Spider-Man stopped this man, which is weird. And then the police arrive, where a police captain shows up and tries to arrest Spider-Man for vigilantism.
That motherfucker's so ancient, bro. Look at him.
Yeah, but so Captain Stacy in the comics has white hair.
He ain't that old, bro.
No.
How old was he when he had Gwen?
Ultimate Gwen, or
55.
Ultimate Captain Stacy is not that old, but from what I've seen of like pictures of 616 Captain Stacy, he pretty fucking old.
Yeah, we'll see.
He doesn't look like a skeleton. That looks like Aunt May ancient right there.
Wow,
Aunt May in drag.
James Cromwell, who's also the voice of your favorite Alfred, who's in that Merry Little Batman.
Oh yeah, he's a good actor. I'm just like, he's too old.
I don't know. I think,
and he's playing Bryce Dallas Howard's dad in that movie, by the way.
Yeah.
What'd the mom look like?
It wouldn't have worked for the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah.
Speak of the devil.
There's Bryce Dallas Howard. So we have Kurt Connors. Peter is late for class with Dr. Connors. There's a lot more Connors in the script than in the movie. Also important to note that Connors has both arms in the script from the beginning. Very important to note. You can see where this is going. Peter tries to be inconspicuous, but in sneaking back into Connors' class, but the door ends up slamming behind him. The classic Parker luck, and that calls attention to him. Connors is pretty critical of him, and Connors appears to be doing biology class as opposed to, I think in Spider-Man 3, doesn't he say that he's a
physicist, not a biologist?
Weird, because I'm like, dude,
this makes more sense.
How does this? Yeah, exactly.
Points for this script.
Yeah, because like, why do you have the man who's turning himself into a literal lizard doing fucking physics? Like, I get that this trilogy probably didn't want to use. I know they wanted to use the lizard at some point, but I'm not sure if it was in Spider-Man 3. But like, why that? Like you said, that doesn't make any sense. That he's a physicist when he turns himself into a freaking giant lizard.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I never got that, but in this, Koepp gets it right. It's a biology class. And one of his classmates in that class, just like in Spider-Man 3, is Gwen Stacy, who in this version is described as awkward and nerdy, as well as wearing glasses. Gwen here drops her pencil. Peter tries to pick it up for her. They both bump heads. Clearly,
I almost drew this, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
You almost drew this moment? Dog, that would have been so sick.
Yeah. But yeah, they're trying to highlight Peter having that connection with her. They're both kind of like the nerdy, awkward people. So he awkwardly tells her that he hopes to bump into her again sometime. So that was kind of funny. Connors then talks to Peter, where it's confirmed that he's the same Dr. Connors who fired Peter as his lab assistant in the first one. So
which they forget about in the second movie. Like in the actual second movie, they forget about it.
He's just his teacher.
Peter offhand mentions it in the first one to Harry. He's like, I was late for work and Dr. Connors fired me. And then they don't bring it up in Spider-Man 2 at all. So I like that
also
they
another
brought
character
that little detail back here.
That cameos in this that obviously would be in the third movie.
Oh, yeah. We'll get there. Yeah. We'll get there in a couple seconds. But yeah, Peter asks about the neogenic research. Connors points Peter towards Otto Octavius, a former Columbia scientist. And then we cut to the Daily Bugle where we meet Eddie Brock. Yes, Eddie Brock has a cameo in Just
Brock, sir. Edward Brock Jr.
J. Jonah Jameson is demanding pictures of a severed limb, which is kind of cute considering that we just cut away from Dr. Connors.
I know. Yeah, that was
pretty
funny. Also, they do mention Eddie in Spider-Man 1, too. I don't know if you guys pick up on that, but Robbie has an offhanded line of, Eddie's been on it for weeks, so I thought it was cool that we actually get to see him this time around. Obviously, Spider-Man 3. Yeah,
it confirms that this is the Eddie, right? It's supposed to be Eddie Brock. But we still have Robbie Robertson. Betty Brant brings up Jameson as 2:00 is there. Jameson in his classic style says, it's 2:30. It's supposed to be at 2:00. Oh, we have to cancel it. I've never been so insulted. And she says, well, actually, you're the one who's late. And then he comes in and walks in and is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've never been more embarrassed in my life. All that type of stuff.
Jameson is on point as always.
No, he doesn't do that. He does something else where he's just like, he's trying to justify to himself and being a dick, but he's like, I'm a busy man. He's like, I don't have time for this, basically. Like, he says it to him like, he's like, I don't give a fuck, basically, is the
same
vibe.
Guy who saved Peter Parker's life in the first movie, by the way. Let's just keep that in mind.
Yeah, this is what makes him so interesting, right? There's more dimension to him. His appointment was actually with, and this is new, Harry Osborn. We actually get scenes of Jameson and Harry Osborn, which I don't think we ever got in the movies.
No.
In the book, he's friends with Norman Osborn. They go to like a smokers club or something where they hang out. Like him and Norman are like colleagues, basically.
Defoe and Simmons in a scene together in this
where like they know each other. They're like kind of like rivals to each other, but they kind of like get along a little bit too. It's like a weird friendship they have.
We got to go over that
idea. I like that idea actually. I wish they would have brought that up in one of the movies.
Yeah,
Harry wants to offer a
story. Yeah, exactly. Harry wants to offer a story on Spider-Man, and that's when Jameson calls in Hoffman. And yes, we get our Ted Raimi cameo as Hoffman.
Hoffman!
Harry wants to offer $10 million to whoever can unmask Spider-Man. And so Peter discovers this article when it gets published, and we have a description that feels very Sam Raimi-esque, where he's like flipping through the paper and it's like zooming in, and then he turns a page, he's still looking more and more worried. It zooms in further, then suddenly MJ pops next to him and scares him. And I was like, oh, I can totally envision that.
So probably put a music sting with it or something whenever she like pops up.
Or they'll just put Hold On by Jet, like is in the beginning of the actual Spider-Man 2 movie. That song slaps, by the way.
It does, but I'm trying to picture it with that sequence, though.
They probably would just have like
a jump scare moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it plays after
the Spider-Man music I can also picture in there. I've had that rhythm stuck in my head since I was like 4 years old.
You just wanted to bring up that song at the beginning of the
movie. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I totally didn't want to find some way to squeeze that in here.
So MJ shows up, continues to toy Peter about the fact that he's keeping the secret as Spider-Man, brings up that she also won the part she auditioned for, and sort of slyly tells him, this character, she has a big secret, and encourages him to let it out before someone does it for him. This is, like I said, more of the happy-go-lucky MJ from the comics, as opposed to sort of the more angst-ridden version that we got in the movies. So it's kind of cool to see that, and it kind of feels like it feels like an interesting evolution to this version of the character. So that's cool. Peter then walks off, sees a gymnast on the street doing similar moves to he did like in the beginning when he was alone in his apartment on the chair. Sees the guy doing it, and he's like, "Not so easy, is it?" As he passes by. That was kind of a funny little moment. Let's see. Otto Octavius, we meet him again, classic, just like in the comics and in the movie. He already has the invention of the tentacles to help him with his experiments, so he's using those. He's working in this version in a rundown lab for an experiment that proves unsuccessful. Then Peter visits. Octavius seems to recognize him, believing him to be Richard Parker. Peter discovers that Octavius, predictably, was the third man in the experiments with the Parkers. And so they kind of bond together. They talk about this neogenic energy, the work about splitting the human cell nuclei and releasing this
turning
energy
into a giant spider.
Not a giant spider. This is about energy stuff, which I think ties into the final movie, right? Where like it was an energy thing too.
Yeah,
his experiment, right? Octavius gives Peter more information about the murder of his parents. He claims that they were betrayed by a Soviet agent called the Black Hand, and that the refractor is the missing piece needed to complete their work.
He's DC villain
to find the Black Hand, as in like the Black Lanterns guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the name of the leader of the Black Lantern Corps, is the
William
Black
Hand or something. Yeah. So he wants to finish the work that they started, and so Spider-Man decides, hey, like, I'm going to get this refractor. Maybe we can complete my parents' legacy. So he web slings through the city as his voiceover narration returns. There's kind of a cool video of him like posing as the Thinker while he's like hanging upside down from a beam, trying to figure out like what do I do? Yeah, exactly, like what Alex is doing. So he retrieves the refractor, brings it to Octavius, believing that this will complete his parents' legacy. But his spider sense starts going off, and we get again the Raimi-verse version of the spider sense that we saw in the first movie when he was, sensing everything that was happening to him at the school before Flash tried to attack him. That gets brought back here, where he becomes very hyper aware of everything in the room, and that's when Octavius pulls out a gun and reveals that he himself was the Black Hand. Doc Ock murdered Peter's parents in this one because they tried to stop his research. And that's when we realize this version of Doc Ock is way less sympathetic than the version that's in the movie.
A complete fucking psycho.
Yeah. There is no like, oh, let's try to do the benevolent science, mentor thing. Even more so in this one. Like, no, we were in that for like 5 seconds, and they're like, never mind, I'm gonna fucking kill you. So
kind of if you've seen the movie first, like this kind of like if you're us reading it now, it kind of uses like that movie against you a little bit, where you're expecting like, oh, maybe this will be kind of close to that, and it's like, no, like not at all. Like it's actually close to the comics.
Yeah. So Octavius shoots at Peter, who runs off and kind of fakes his death. I mean, it appears that he's may have been run over by a train, but obviously Octavius doesn't know that Peter survived by using his powers and escaped and is on top of the train using his Spider-Man abilities. Peter goes back home, gets his Spider-Man suit, while Octavius now has the refractor, and he decides to run his experiment. But Peter returns for justice as Spider-Man, and so we get the big fight. Spider-Man finds that he can't stick to things well, though. There's a new development of happening where he's barely able to shoot his web. So this fight between Spider-Man and Octavius also wrecks the lab, leading to the explosion, predictably enough, right? Spider-Man's thrown free, but the blast also welds the tentacle apparatus to Octavius. Spider-Man's powers seemingly return as he's able to get away from the scene and believes that Octavius is dead, only for us to get the classic reveal, there's still movement. He's still alive.
Oh,
Doc
shit.
Ock survived.
Oh my God.
We're
I'm totally surprised.
We're barely like 30 to 40 pages into the script. So yeah, he's still around.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter then goes back home, demands to know why May never told him that his parents were murdered. May says that she was afraid vengeance would consume him and urges him to seek love instead. Shades of Spider-Man 3 here. In terms of the whole like revenge, bloodthirsty Peter around
Spider-Man doesn't kill people.
Spider-Man killed him.
Yeah. Oh man. Peter then hangs out with Harry, trying to get his advice on what to do with Gwen.
The infamous slap. He doesn't do that,
right, brother?
No, we're just using that for a visual aid in this moment. But yeah, Peter hangs out with Harry. Their friendship, however, this nice little moment between the two of them is ruined by a reminder of the Daily Bugle's rampage with Harry against Spider-Man, to the point where Harry grabs Peter's wrist and unintentionally breaks the face of Peter's watch in anger. They decide, we better let this go as a topic for the sake of our friendship. Let's let go of this topic. And Peter walks off, finding the street gymnast from earlier and befriending him. And Harry determines from seeing Peter that maybe he should go after Peter first, since he takes photos of Spider-Man. Maybe Peter Parker can lead him to Spider-Man. He's getting close. He's getting close to the truth. The next part is really interesting. Peter visits Dr. Connors. We get a cameo of a lizard in Connors' office. I wonder why. And then
that's weird. I don't know why there's a random lizard in Connors' classroom. Maybe that means
we also find out that Connors was one of the scientists who worked on the spider who bit Peter in the first movie. So that's convenient. Yeah, that was interesting.
Which they also steal in Spectacular Spider-Man. They have that explanation for it too, from what I remember, because it comes from Connors' lab in ESU.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It makes sense though, yeah. On top of that, Connors reveals that the spiders would end up losing their enhanced powers and go back to being ordinary spiders, which could explain why Peter may be losing his own powers.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking of a twist at the end.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh my God, yeah.
The thing, what's interesting about this version is yes, we still have Peter seeming like he's losing his Spider-Man powers. In the movie, it was very much feeling like it's psychological. He's like losing his confidence, losing like his belief in himself. And this one is just like, no, there's a scientific explanation behind this that we got to solve. And I'm like, well, that
maybe
just
you're
feels
not meant to be Spider-Man swinging over the city.
I have this friend who has a dream. Yeah.
I do like it more how it's done, how it's explained. I mean, in the movie of it being more of a psychological thing, because he's losing faith in the direction his life is going. He's losing MJ. Harry almost seems like he doesn't like him.
Harry hates him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in this it's just kind of like he's losing his powers because reasons?
For plot reasons. Yeah, for plot reasons, basically.
Is he not supposed to have what he wants, what he needs?
Am I not supposed to have what I want?
God, I need to rewatch this movie. Yeah.
No, like what was interesting is this one, obviously from the beginning, he's like, I don't really know who I am. Basically, like he has that going throughout, like as a through line for the whole movie.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I just don't think this whole losing powers thing, having a scientific explanation behind it to solve helps with the theme of his identity thing. I think the psychological aspect that we get
his
in the
performance
final movie
issues
works better. So after meeting with Connors, Gwen is revealed to have been eavesdropping on them and sort of nervously asked Peter to be her lab partner. Gwen here is kind of cutely awkward, kind of reminding us of Felicity in Arrow, at least in the first 2 seasons. And she admires Peter due to his intelligence. So again, like Koepp goes with a different dynamic with Gwen and Peter than with MJ and Peter. And I think that's good. Like I like that. I like that contrast.
Yeah.
Octavius wakes up in Bellevue. Doctors explain to him that the arms are fused to him permanently. Octavius snaps, attacks the staff with his tentacles, similar to the movie, except he's actually in control of them this time. It's not that they have a mind of their own and he's just unconscious on the table. He's actually taking out the doctors himself, because this version of Octavius is a piece of shit. And so very much feels like Ultimate Spider-Man as well.
I was just about to say, right? Very much reminds me of the Ultimate Comics, being a big fan of the early run of that series. This definitely was Ultimate coded to me.
For sure, yes.
There's no Kraven at the same time as Doc Ock, but, it still has that same kind of vibe.
Well, Doc Ock vows revenge on the rest of the world. The rest of the world will pay, and I think this is a perfect image for that. The rest of the world will pay now that the tentacles are fused to him. So now Doc Ock is born. Peter's now going out with not with MJ, but with Gwen Stacy.
He wishes
Harry has the hit out on Spider-Man. So we will cover the rest of this after the break. Hey guys, if you want to hear more of us outside of superhero stuff you should know, you're in luck. Both Alex and I have shows and other work that we produce outside of this podcast. Alex, let's hear about your other podcasts.
All right, so obviously I know you guys are a fan of superheroes, so I'll start off with I have Flashbacks, a Flash rewatch podcast where we cover every episode of the CW Flash show. Also, if you're a fan, I know you can see in the corner the Batman thing. We have Night of the Batman, where me and my wife and occasionally other guests cover everything Batman related. Ben was actually on the show, and we interviewed John Jackson Miller, and also we covered his book, Batman Resurrection. So definitely go check that out. And also, if you're more into like kind of a vague kind of movie-ish show, kind of like a vague, like What Mean kind of vibe, then I have What Mean podcast, which is also great. That's just vague, like movies, TV, music, just whatever I kind of feel like covering. That has made a comeback recently, so look forward to that. And if you're into just TV in general, and especially nostalgic TV, I would recommend Review More Girls. My wife and her cousin cover it, and that show heavily deals with family, the Gilmore Girls show, and they talk about their own personal, their personal family life, and also just how they relate to each other, kind of like the two main characters of that show. So definitely go check that out.
Awesome. Yes, I've been a guest on both Flashbacks and Night of the Batman. I've not watched enough Gilmore Girls to be part of Review More Girls, so I don't know if I'll be making an appearance on that one, but on Flashbacks and Night of the Batman, I've been there, and it's been fun, so definitely check those out. As for me, outside of this show, I'm both a voice actor and a writer. On the voice acting side, I'm currently voicing 3 different versions of Batman on YouTube. Yes, I'm the voice of Batman in the Arkham tapes. That's an analog horror series produced by one of our collaborators, The Bat Feed, in which I play a Bruce Wayne who's injected himself with the powers of the different Rogues Gallery members, becoming this monstrous version of Batman that you see there. And I am also the voice of 2 other versions on Neuverse Creative. That's one of our favorite channels. That's Neuverse. This is a channel that produces audio dramas and motion comics, where I've contributed my writing to episodes devoted to expanding the worlds of the different versions of Batman, not only adapting the movies, but also adapting unmade scripts, junior tie-in novels, or existing comics and just setting them into the movie continuity. So basically, it's the dramatized version of a lot of stuff that we cover on the show. I'm also the voice of both the Michael Keaton Batman and the Val Kilmer Batman in that. How did that happen? I have no idea, but somehow I landed it in there. Nobody's called me out as a fraud yet. So I adapted the original scripts for Batman Forever when they were produced in 2 audio dramas, one produced in the style of the Burtonverse with me as the Michael Keaton Batman, like you see here, titled Tim Burton's Batman 3, and the other in the style of the Schumacher film, of course, called Batman Forever, the Schumacher cut audio drama with me as the Val Kilmer Batman. So if you're a fan of our Batman coverage, you won't want to miss these. And if you'd like to check out my original stuff, I also self-published my own indie comics. So check out my indie comic series, Alter Ego. This is a mix of Batman No Man's Land with X-Men and The Departed. 5 families of supervillains have taken over the city, and our main character goes undercover as a henchman to eliminate them one by one. And this is now available on Amazon. I say now available. It's always been available on Amazon. That's really the only place you can get it, other than just off of me. So the 3 issues are available on Amazon. There'll be more. You can also get the variant cover of issue 1 done by Alex himself that we see in the middle right here. So this is cool. And that is my first indie series, and the other one is my manga, Musashi and Son. This is based on the real-life samurai Miyamoto Musashi, who wrote the Book of 5 Rings. If you've studied martial arts or any sort of Asian martial history, Miyamoto Musashi comes up a lot in the Book of 5 Rings. And this is the story of how he adopted a son. Think samurai Batman and Robin in this. They go from village to village hunting down the bandits that murdered the boy's father. also available on Amazon, and the link to my Amazon author page is in the description that has all of these available in their different forms, both on Kindle and in print. You can also get merch for both my comics at my TeePublic, which has a link in the description. You occasionally see me wearing either an Alter Ego shirt or a Musashi shirt in here, or a Superhero Stuff You Should Know shirt. If you want Superhero Stuff You Should Know merch, that's in here. On top of that, I have an animated movie coming out, directed by a friend of the podcast, Aaron Quinn. It is a faithful adaptation of the James O'Barr graphic novel, The Crow, that I co-wrote with Aaron, who will also be animating, and I will be the voice of the Crow. So, that's our plugs. Check those out when you can.
If you told me when I started listening to this show that I would be a guest, I would shit myself.
And with that, we're back. So, welcome back, everybody. And we're going to go further into Act 2. Thank you, Brady, for joining us and coming on and being a fan.
You got to explain my username, by the way. Have we gotten to the dinner scene yet?
No, they just think you're gross farts.
Yeah.
This entire time. Well, we're about to, right? Because Peter ends up on a date with Gwen Stacy. So here we go.
Like Branzino, anyone?
Yeah, we don't hear anything. Just see the two of them having a good time. And at one point, Alex, you can go into this. Gwen gets up to use the bathroom. So
she gets up to use the bathroom, and then Koepp feels it necessary to include she gets up to go use the bathroom. She's not like taking a shit or something gross. It's just he says something like that. I was like, what the hell, man?
In this script are so fucking funny because half the time they're like, it's just weird because he describes shit and then it's just funny the way he describes things is basically what I'm getting at in the plug lines of the script.
It is. But that's why he's David Koepp, he's done a lot of major movies, and stuff. So he knows he can, add that type of stuff.
This is Despo art, by the way. I just looked him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Despop art. Despop art.
Mm. Well, either way, it's Peter caught in between MJ and Gwen in the classic Romita era that this is somewhat being inspired by. So he's on the date with Gwen. It ends with her kissing him, but it's revealed that someone has been spying on them from across the way. A shadowy figure has been spying.
It's the guy from Amazing Spider-Man 2. The cloaked figure.
The gentleman.
Michael Massey. Rest in
peace. I was gonna do a shitty Russian accent and be like, I have spotted my next hunt, because we were talking about Craven earlier.
Oh yeah. Oh, that could have been interesting. But
yeah, that would have been a fun way to introduce
Kirk
Craven.
Connors yells, "You should leave him alone." He does at the end of that movie.
Recreate Spider-Man 2, the video game, 20 fucking years before that game was out.
So Peter brings Gwen to MJ's filming of a soap opera. Now I don't know how much of it is him deliberately doing this, but
I don't think he's a sociopath like he is in the Raimi movies sometimes. I don't think he's intentionally trying to mentally torture Mary Jane like he does in the movies sometimes.
At least maybe the third one, but yeah. MJ sees them together here.
He seems kind of mentally lost, if that makes any sense.
He's it seems innocent in this version.
Yeah, I can see that.
It just kind of seemed like he zoned out when him and Gwen were going somewhere, and then he just wound up bringing her to MJ's filming of a soap opera.
Because she says she's with someone, so it's above board basically. It's
true.
She's with someone.
Yeah. You're right. I forgot about Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Non-existent Jeff, as we find out.
Hey, spoiler.
For all you Marvel Rivals fans out there, the fucking shark.
So MJ tries to hide her jealousy and tries to make up for it by ad-libbing kissing her co-star in front of them. She then has an awkward meeting with Peter and Gwen and suggests that they all go out together, which sounds like a terrible idea, but we'll see it later. Peter then goes to the bugle. Jameson calls him to his office. You're fired. No. He calls him to his office and wait, you're unfired. Seems to be nice to him after his wife's suggestion to be nicer to people. When Peter says it seems kind of scary, Jameson goes back to being his old self and demands that Peter get him pictures of the escape.
He would have killed this, man. This would have been great.
Oh yeah, he would have been.
Oh great. Yeah, I would have loved to see this in in actual Spider-Man 2. For some reason, the previous scene, actually, I was going to bring this up in the soap opera moment. There's I don't know how well you guys remember Spider-Man, the new animated series, or anybody in our
I thought you were going to bring up Spectacular again.
No.
With the hottest version of MJ in that. Oh wait, sorry, does no one else think that? My bad.
I'm not going to comment. I do.
I don't.
Regardless, anyway. It reminds me of a moment.
The CG, the celebrated one.
Yeah.
I don't remember what she looked like in that. I just remember Michael Clark Duncan.
He goes to a film of MJ's soap opera, and she was with this other dude in the soap opera too. I think it was an audition. I was just picturing that moment. I think Alex knows the scene I'm talking about.
Yeah, because there's that moment where they almost have a moment, and then he walks off basically, and it's at the movie theater, and she's sad. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, is this in the Kingpin episode? Because Alex and I went over that when we did the Daredevil one.
That's what it is. Actually,
vaguely remembering this.
Yeah, it's the same one.
I need to rewatch that series again. It's been a while.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, this is basically when Jameson says, "Get me pictures of Doc Ock." Peter's like, "Oh my God, Octavius is still alive," and we get the exchange that we get in the movie where Jameson is brainstorming with Hoffman. And
it goes on a little too long in this version.
Yeah, Hoffman suggests Doctor Strange, which is already taken. It's already taken. But then Jameson goes back to wanting Dr. Octopus, pretending that it's his idea. So that all is in this script.
Yeah, which is in character because he does a similar thing in the first movie where he's like, call the patent office, I want a quarter every time someone mentions the name when he's talking about Green Goblin.
That's true, yeah. Spider-Man goes on the hunt for Octavius around the city, and then as Peter goes to meet Gwen Stacy's family, where he meets her brothers as well as her dad, who is the police captain who tried to arrest him earlier as Spider-Man, leading to a very awkward dinner table conversation that, very much foreshadows the Amazing Spider-Man. Actually, where the hell is Skylar? Oh, there's Skylar.
Oh yeah, I was like, he's off
Jimmy.
on the right side somewhere. Yeah. Up your what,
so
Dad?
So they have a very similar moment from the movie because Captain Stacy in this script is very anti-Spider-Man, just like in the Amazing Spider-Man movie. Yeah. And that actually might have originated from the script because I think Captain Stacy is more of a supporter of Spider-Man in the 616 comics. So
he's a lot softer in this version. In the Amazing Spider-Man movie, he's a lot harsher to it. In this one, he's kind of like, well, maybe one day Spider-Man will see this, basically, is like the thing that he's like not doing the right thing.
Yeah, he's not as big of a character in this one either.
Yeah. But it worked for I actually did like I like both versions of this scene, but the whole time I was reading it, I was literally just picturing this scene from the Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, totally. Everyone
very similar.
Everyone shifted in my mind from like, oh, it's Tobey Maguire and maybe James Cromwell and Bryce Dallas Howard, and then this moment was like, now everyone is Andrew Garfield and Stone and Dennis Leary.
And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, and I guess I'll bring this up now. I can't really see or imagine Tobey when I was reading this because his Spidey is a little too quippy when he's got the mask on. Whereas in the first one, he doesn't really quip all that much. Like the most
he does. He just says some problematic stuff.
Out of your mind. Well, okay,
out of your mind.
But that was in the wrestling suit. I'm talking like the actual full-blown Spidey suit. Everyone knows about that famous line. I have said it before in a fan project, but it's just I can't picture Tobey. I was hearing Josh Keaton from the Spectacular animated series. I was hearing him more than I was hearing Tobey.
Yeah. Well, the stuff that was kind of charming in this, that's not really in the Amazing Spider-Man, was stuff with like the kid, where the kid kept taking like his French fries, basically, and then like he would like take him as soon as like the kid's head turned and everything. They're having that back and forth. That was really fun. I like that.
Yeah, little Billy Stacy. Yeah, Gwen's little brother Billy plays a role in this one, and they have a nice little dynamic. That was I could kind of see Tobey do the playfulness with
like a younger brother kind of vibe to it.
Yeah,
I'm more so meaning I can't really hear his voice or see him doing the Spider-Man specific stuff. Yeah, because like I said, he's a little too quippy in the suit, whereas in the first one he kind of wasn't. So it's harder for me to like hear him in my head as I read the script saying some of that stuff. But I think he could have pulled it off. I'm just saying it's...
Come on, man. He's the sheriff in these parts.
Oh God!
I think Koepp maybe was trying to feel like he had to make up for the fact that he wasn't really, he didn't stand out as having the quips in the first one, so he was trying to make up for it.
I mean, I thought it worked for that first movie.
Maybe he's figuring stuff out though too. You can make that excuse of maybe in the first one he's kind of figuring stuff out.
Yeah, or maybe he's been Spider-Man for a while. He's more confident to be able to talk shit to the criminals more.
That's true too, because we don't know really. I mean, we can kind of gather the passage of time between the two movies, but it's not really explicitly brought up that like this is like 2 years later or something.
Right, because he turns 21 here. He did graduate from high school, but there is a passage of time after he graduates from high school in that first movie.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say he's probably like 18 by the end of the first movie, or supposed to be 18 by the end of the first movie. It's been like 3
years?
Yeah, probably, somewhere around
there. I feel like Harry would have gone on his case a lot more then. Or maybe this is...
Harry doesn't have a lot of upward mobility in these, man. Like, the thing, he has to have a ghost tell him everything to do. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Avenge me!
So Peter at the table, just like an Amazing Spider-Man, Peter tries to defend Spider-Man, and Captain Stacy brings up that the people Spidey saved from a carjacking were not tourists, but were actually his undercover agents trying to go after a whole carjacker ring. And Spider-Man
That's clever. I like
destroyed their stuff. Yeah, I like that too.
That was a very cool moment.
Despite Peter's defenses, Captain Stacy goes on this whole speech against him. So that kind of very similar to the Amazing Spider-Man. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some connection there when they were looking at the development of the movie.
Must have been, or it was just a case of parallel thinking from the writer of the Amazing Spider-Man, who escapes me at the moment.
James Vanderbilt.
Thank you.
He just read the Amazing Spider-Man script. It's like,
wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Yeah, maybe he did. So Doc Ock returns to the ruins of his lab, now dressed in a cloak. I was expecting him to be like, no, I didn't miscalculate. But he doesn't say that.
I couldn't have miscalculated.
He recovers the refractor, and he brings the refractor to Harry Osborn. So this feels early. He already knows Harry. They appear to have an arrangement where Harry will give him a lab to continue his experiments. Harry, however, double-crosses him. He's secretly arranged for government agents to arrive and arrest Octavius, likely all to get to Peter Parker. He swaps the real refractor for a fake because it conveniently looks exactly like the crystals in his chandelier in his office. I was like, what?
That was a little bit stupid. I'm just like, really? That was the what?
And Octavius falls for it too.
I know.
The feds, however, have trouble arresting Doc Ock, who won't go down without a fight, and also because he's got like 4 metal tentacles and stuff. So
it's almost like that was a stupid idea to begin with.
Cinder block hit him in the head. Maybe kind of knock something loose.
Peter and MJ meet up, with MJ mad that he brought Gwen to her filming. Peter doesn't understand why she's angry since she's seeing Jeff. So you're right, Alex. Everything seemed above board. MJ finally admits that Jeff is fake. He never existed. She just saw 21 Jump Street the other day, and that's what stopped him.
I kind of like this. Like, jokes aside, I do kind of like this a little bit better than she's dating someone else and trying to make time with like Peter basically in this one, where she's like, no, I was just trying to like either make you jealous or whatever, basically. Like, I'm not actually seeing someone else.
I do like that. So she did want Peter jealous. She then asked Peter directly if he's Spider-Man, but as this happens, they happen to see Spider-Man web slinging around at the same time, which makes MJ back down. Peter's spider sense, however, starts kicking in. He grabs MJ before a car goes through the window, just like in the movie. Sweet.
What?
And then, but without MJ uses his webs to save a waitress. So she still doesn't really see. Peter and MJ hear Doc Ock coming their way, like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, which was also written by David Koepp. Until they finally...
That was a cool little thing that they put in. Like
until they see Doc Ock hurling cars, just like in this gift that Dan pulled up for us from No Way Home.
Nice.
There we go here. Peter yells at the decoy Spider-Man to get out of the way. What's up?
He's not after Peter. He's not like really like exclusively after MJ either. That just is like a byproduct of them.
He's just
coming out of there.
Leaving. So Peter yells at decoy Spider-Man to get out of there. Everyone thinks Spider-Man's going to save the day, but Doc Ock just easily strikes him out of the way. And Doc Ock goes off to find a hostage. Meanwhile, MJ is like, what the hell, Spider-Man? Why didn't you fight back? Only for it to be revealed that under the mask is that gymnast guy that Peter had befriended earlier. So Doc Ock arrives, tries to take MJ hostage, but the real Spider-Man, Peter, arrives to save her. In the meantime, you've got Captain Stacy seeing the sirens going. It's supposed to be his time with Gwen to go to lunch, but Gwen gives him permission to skip lunch so he can go off and see what's happening.
I like that moment between them. That was a cute moment. Yeah. That also felt like a really watered down version of the imposter arc in Ultimate Spider-Man with the Spider-Man who was like evil and was inadvertently responsible for Captain Stacy's passing in that series.
Don't they never explain who the hell that is?
Yeah, it's just some random dude. I
think it's I don't think it's an actual. Yeah, I don't think it's a rogue.
He's a random guy. He was literally just doing it for fun, if I remember right.
Yeah. The hell.
So, similar to the movie, Doc Ock and Spidey have their first fight along the side of a building where Ock's tentacles go through the walls, terrifying the people inside. We get a Godzilla reference where the Japanese woman screams and the subtitle says, "We moved from Tokyo to get away from this." So that was funny.
Yeah, I could see that in the movie.
Yeah. That feels
especially Raimi.
Sam Raimi, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, especially it's just all on her and she's yelling at the screen. She's breaking the fourth wall.
I pictured that too.
Yeah, exactly. Spidey discovers the hard way that Ock's tentacles are strong enough to rip through his webbing, and just when he loses his confidence, Spidey's ability to stick to walls starts failing him again. So, bad sign. Captain Stacy wants to call in a helicopter, while his officer is clearly played by Ken Watanabe from Godzilla because he just says, "Let them fight." So it's just like, Jesus, man.
My God, bro is just having a bad day.
During Doc Ock's attack, falling rubble threatens a child. Captain Stacy runs forward to save the child, but is fatally injured as the rubble falls on him instead. As we see here, that is right out of the comics, the original 616 comics.
So it's that kid's fault.
So the kid grows up to be Carnage.
First it's the balloons in the video game, now this shit.
The balloons in the video game kill him?
No. I was just saying because Alex was like, it's the kid's fault. The damn kid in Spider-Man 2, the game, keeps losing his fucking balloon, and you have to catch it, and it's the most annoying goddamn missions in the entire game.
Jesus. So, Captain Stacy is crushed by it. Spider-Man rescues him, tries to take him to a hospital, but Captain Stacy stops him and reveals that he knows that it's Peter Parker underneath.
Oh, you're right. He is old as fuck in this.
Yeah, man. Got to know your comics. Like James Cromwell's not looking too bad right now.
That looks like a fucking skeleton.
Well, he literally is at death's door in this moment.
Yeah. Maybe he just has nicer hair. I don't know. It goes down a little easier.
His final request is that Peter be good to Gwen, and again, all right out of the comics. Even this moment in the comics was during a Doc Ock attack. So,
hell yeah! It's an Amazing Spider-Man, where it's just like, promise me you won't be with her.
You'll leave Gwen out of it.
Gwen out of it, from the Amazing Spider-Man. I got that vibe too.
Yeah. So
what a shitty thing to ask on your deathbed.
I know. And then
he's a shitty guy.
Spits in his face afterwards. He's like, "But those are the best kind of promises." Jesus. It's like good on you.
It's like your dad's dead. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, that's why I was like, "Good on you, Peter," but also, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, they needed to that needed a bit of a rethink in that movie.
Yeah.
But that is the death of Captain Stacy already. It seemed like he just arrived. We just met him in a previous scene, but it's a pretty quick.
We hardly knew ye
part, as opposed to the Dennis Leary version in the Amazing Spider-Man, or in the comics, or even in Ultimate Comics when it was that Spider-Man imposter.
Yeah.
So we have the death of Captain Stacy pretty much at the midpoint. So we will take another break. Hey guys, every month you get a new episode of Superhero Stuff You Should Know. Isn't that right, Alex?
That's right, Ben.
Yeah. But what if you could get more and support our show? So you can get an extra episode of our show per month if you support us on Patreon over at www.patreon.com/superheroSYSK, where you mainly get the $5 tier or the $10 tier. On the $5 tier, you'll get your name shouted out at the end of the episode from Alex himself in a Stickly voice, or maybe some other voice. We'll see what happens with this episode.
That's right, Ben.
What the hell is going on here?
What the hell is going on here?
You'll also
listen up, he's got to tell you.
We'll also have early access for you to all our videos and episodes if you're part of the $5 tier. You'll also get an exclusive episode each month for that tier. So an exclusive episode could be about a deeper dive into a novelization. We've covered the Alan Grant Jr. novelization for Batman Forever on there. We can also cover comics or alternate history of comics. We've done like the what if in terms of what if Jason Todd had survived a death in the family. We have reviews. We sometimes cover news. We sometimes do deeper dives into smaller things. We had a whole 2.5-hour episode on each of the characters who showed up in the mural of the Hall of Justice in James Gunn's Superman. Though I gotta say, that's probably like our highest viewed Patreon episode, looking at the views there. Yeah. Or it's the same guy who just couldn't get enough of our talk about the Ghost of Flanders. You know who you are. So on the $10 monthly meetup, you'll get to meet and chat with Alex and me about all the latest superhero news, movies, TV shows. This is a virtual meetup in a Zoom setting that we usually have on like a Wednesday night.
It's not in person.
Sit down and talk about it. It's not in person. Sorry, we can't fly us all over there. You got to pay a lot more to the Patreon to do that. And in some ways, the other perks you get on the $10 tier is you get to influence the show in some ways. We give you sometimes the options of a poll to vote on things like thumbnails or even what episodes to cover, and you also get the opportunity to submit questions for future guest interviews that are in the StreamYard setting that we're doing, where we have enough time to cover everything. So if this is an interview episode you're listening to or watching right now, there's probably some Patreon patrons who were able to submit some questions for this one. So check it out. And if you want to help us out, but you can't afford an ongoing monthly Patreon subscription, totally understand. That's okay too, because we're also selling collections of Patreon exclusive series. These are playlists of the $5 tier episodes curated by myself that are kind of sold individually. You don't have to sign up for a subscription. You can just have a one-time donation, and you can have it per each playlist that you want to get. We have playlists of deeper dives into things like the Tim Burton Batman films, of course, one of our specialties. We've got the movie magazines for Batman 89 and Batman Returns. We covered those. We also have an episode-by-episode deep dive into the Penguin Show. If you love that show too, like I did.
How much does it cost, Ben? $100?
$200? $100 per episode. No, it's not $100. It's more like $12 for the entire thing.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, for what used to be months and months of Patreon episodes, I put them all together for you just for $12 or so. So you can just donate $12 and get all that content and not have to worry about a monthly subscription. So check that out. And Alex says that it's a bargain, and he would know because he also, before he became co-host, used to be a fan who was a Patreon patron who was donating and he was an audience who was part of those episodes. So
that's right.
Thank you, Alex. Now, what if you like the show, but you don't just want more content? You want something, tangible, something to hold in your hands, something that you could even wear. Well, you want some merch, and we have that too. As you can see, I'm wearing this Quick Change Bruce Wayne shirt resembling the Kenner action figure that was famous, that a lot of you guys, I know you're a Superhero Stuff You Should Know type audience. Either you're listening to it or you're somebody who's a good candidate for it if you recognize this shirt in the wild and ask, where did you get that shirt? So we can tell you, here's where you can get that shirt. This is an exclusive Superhero Stuff You Should Know styled shirt designed by a fan of the show, Cole Watkins, very talented artist. He helped design this. This is a special Superhero Stuff You Should Know version. As you can see, the red bat says Superhero SYSK, but it does not mess with the overall quick change Bruce Wayne dynamic that you see here. This shirt not only resembles the action figure, but also has been worn by a Batman. Yes, it's been worn by former guest of the show, Carl Newman, who is the movement double for Michael Keaton in Batman 89 in the suit. And he brings the action figure to life here, looking like he's right outside Wayne Manor, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Just chilling out. Good. Yeah. So, and then all the comments, of course, all want one. So if you want one of your own, go to our TeePublic link in the description. Go to the link there. You can scroll down. You'll see a variety of different options you can have. It doesn't just have to be this long sleeve shirt, though most people will go for that because it resembles the Michael Keaton action figure the most. But you can also get this design on t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and at the same time, you could also get the same stuff from the logo that Dan designed. Yes, our new logo from Dan of Superhero Stuff You Should Know. You can get that type of merch on TeePublic on the same types of things, either tank tops, hoodies, mugs, stickers, hats. They're all on there on the TeePublic, as well as merch for my comics, Alter Ego, and Musashi and Son. So any of these will help basically
the show, and it's money that you pay that does not go into us spending it on batarangs or things like that, or this grappling gun and that type of stuff. It goes to paying Dan for the work he does for us. He's our producer, our editor. He does a lot for us on here, and the money goes to him as well as goes to the StreamYard subscription that we use that enables us to record in this way. So please get yourself some more of our show, get yourself some merch, and support us if you can.
And remember, you gotta have your Superhero Stuff You Should Know merch while you're watching Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
That's right. It's not a Superhero Stuff You Should Know episode without a Superhero Stuff You Should Know ball cap.
That's okay. They can get it next time, Ben.
Alfie says, welcome back, everybody, to Spider-Man Stuff You Should Know. There's a lot of Alfie in this episode.
Looks like I'm using all 9 lives today.
I know.
But yes.
Alfie cameo.
The Daily Bugle proposes the headline, Cop Killer, framing Spider-Man as the one who killed the captain, which leads to Peter fucking raging at Jameson. Here we go. I told Dan to pull up this image.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he really does look like a frog man.
I think it's because you don't have any teeth in this.
Spider-Man.
So. Yeah. So he's raging at Jameson for wanting to run this, saying that he killed Captain Stacy. Robbie Robertson is trying to play ref. Peter threatens to quit, while Jameson tells him, all right, well then find a new line of work and to run this headline.
Fired.
Yeah, you're fired. So Peter storms out of the Bugle office with the same shadowy figure who, was creeping on him, watching him on a date with Gwen.
It's
the same shadowy figure follows him. The wrong universe.
The Watcher.
Yeah.
The Watcher, yeah.
No,
if I remember correctly, too, there also are hints that Robbie knows, or am I thinking of the actual
I think
Spider-Man?
you're thinking of the movie, because I don't think I really picked up on that in the script.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
Like in the movie,
Spider-Man is
Spider-Man was there.
Killer, right, Peter?
Yeah. He's like, oh, Spider-Man didn't kill those cops, right,
He
Peter?
he does this look to him like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite, little gags, I guess you'd call it, in Spider-Man 2, where he's like, I heard Spider-Man was there, and he just, and Peter
Make
gives
it
him
less
a look
obvious.
Of, oh, shit.
No, but it's such a great thing to make Robbie stand out. We don't know.
No, I meant characters in universe. Like, bro, you could make it less obvious that you know who he is.
Yeah,
Jameson's not going to see that.
Yeah. It's very obvious too that in the actual movie, Aunt May very clearly knows. She's just not saying anything about it.
I believe there's a hero in all
There's
of us.
that one scene where she storms off until later on she's like, I guess I'm cool with this.
What does that have to do with Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Well, maybe because she figures that's what, if she's putting it all together, she figures that's the reason why.
Well, he lives there. He's doing all these acrobatic things right after he gets bit, basically running across the wall and everything and landing. I'm like, he never did that the rest of his life. She has to know something's up.
I will say I do miss the scene where he tells her the truth about what happened the night Uncle Ben died.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful moment in Spider-Man 2, and then I'm just like, it's nowhere to be found in this. Yeah, no, that was God, I need to rewatch this movie.
It's a great scene. I'm rewatching this again.
Spider-Man 2 commentary coming soon.
Oh my god, that would be sick.
Oh man, we got to get.
I've already done the one for the first one on What Mean. I've already done the first movie commentary.
Oh man. All right, so we get Koepp brings back something from the first movie, which is the montage of all the people from New York talking about Spider-Man. He sucks, he stinks, and I don't like him.
Stinks, and I don't like him. That's my favorite guy in that montage.
He's real wackadoo.
Everyone is that guy in this this montage where everyone doesn't like Spider-Man because of what happened to Captain Stacy. So again, Koepp is playing a contrast here. Then we get to the wake of Captain Stacy. Peter and Aunt May go. Peter gets emotional, tying sort of the whole thing to Uncle Ben. And Aunt May tells him that she doesn't know any other way to grow than through pain, which I really like. I really like that aspect. This is kind of the closest we'll get to
Aunt Batman would get along. That works.
The closest we got through to the whole I believe there's a hero in all of us type of moment between Aunt May and Peter.
That's such a good
one of the best scenes in the entire Raimi trilogy. Man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That, and I think another contender, not to bring us too off track, which is basically my trademark at this point, but that there's a powerful scene like that too in the first movie where he's explaining that he feels he's responsible for Uncle Ben's death. That is
crying in the room.
God, that scene is great.
Kind of reminds me of Batman Begins too. Speaking of Batman, it was him alone. Do you understand?
Channel all your rage towards criminals, Master Bruce. Yeah. So Peter goes to Billy Stacy, the little brother of Gwen's, and bonds over their loss in a sweet little moment where Barry, wrong podcast. Billy is
knocking cross over to our other show.
Billy is knocking action figures into the water and thinks about how his dad said that if he ever went missing, he'd throw all of New York into the river until he found his son. And he asked Peter, who's going to find him now when he's lost? And Peter says that he will, which I'm like, oh my God, this is such a, like the action figures thing kind of starts off a little weird, but once it's explained and Peter says that, then it's like, oh man, like this is such a
because that was my exact reaction. I read this, I was like, what the fuck? What is this? And then it gets further along and you kind of realize, oh, this is like really powerful for both Peter and Billy's character arcs. I imagined it was like actual Marvel superhero figures he was not in the river too, because as we'll see later, they are not exactly afraid of that.
Right. Oh, and we also have the acknowledgement Doctor Strange is already taken. So it could have been a Doctor Strange figure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a normal doctor in this universe. Like he's not even like superpower. It's just a famous surgeon.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's taken.
At Captain Stacy's wake, Gwen says she feels sorry for Spider-Man because he has to live with himself and may not know who he is. Hint, hint. Peter realizes that she has diagnosed him without knowing it. We get the end of that. We get a scene with Octavia setting up a deal to sell his technology as a weapon to a foreign power. I was wondering if this is going to turn into somebody. The guy who was selling this technology.
Yeah, chameleon or something.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking hella hard that this was going to be the chameleon. I was like, foreign guy, kind of vaguely evil, would buy like weapons like that. This has got to be the chameleon. Spoiler alert.
Diplomatic immunity.
I was just thinking of that too, of the Joker from Death in the Family. But
this is a different reference. That's funny you made that reference
too. But yes.
What is? Hold on, I'm lost. What were you referencing?
He's referencing Lethal Weapon 2, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, wait, I know that reference. I just can't place what it's from right now.
It's just been revoked. Anyway, Peter is being followed by the shadowy figure who's revealed to be Harry Osborn.
Uncle Ben.
Not a huge surprise, honestly. It would be. Uncle Ben. Imagine if it was Richard Parker.
Dude, that would
he'd yell at him at a cemetery.
That would have been so cool.
That's Andrew Garfield, man, in that scene. Holy shit. Like, that is such a great, even though you're just like, dude, this is such a weird twist, but the acting in that scene, you're just
I mean, it's comic accurate though. How allow the same thing in the Ultimate Universe.
I kind of want to see what they would have done with Mary Jane now, because originally they were going to make a third one, so you're like, hey, just save it for the next one. There was never a next one. I kind of want to know what she would have done with the role.
Shailene Woodley is a really cool choice for MJ, too. I'm kind of sad that we will probably never get to see her unless some Lost Media archivist... Yeah, that's what I was going to say, unless some Lost Media person finds it.
Yeah, well... Let us superhero stuff you should know at gmail.com. So send that over to us.
Shailene Woodley, come on the show.
So Harry witnesses Peter change into the Spider-Man outfit and take off, which is how Harry discovers that Peter is Spider-Man.
This is the
Harry Osborn in the comics. Yeah, with the classic hairstyle.
He's like,
Spider-Man attempts to save a woman from a man attacking her, only to find out that they were actors rehearsing. I thought this was going to turn into, I think it's the Cameron treatment, where he tries to save a wife who's being beaten by her husband, and then they both are afraid or something like that. There's been they've played that beat before.
It's kind of again similar to Spider-Man 1, where he thinks there's the screaming woman in the building. He turns around, it's Goblin, clocks the motherfucker right in the face.
So predictable.
The woman curses him out to go away before he gets someone else killed. And, those words come to haunt Peter, and he decides it's Spider-Man no more. And yes, this is where we get that recreation of that image of Peter walking away from the Spider-Man suit in the trash can.
I should get a physical copy of that comic, because for audio listeners, I was the only one that doesn't have it.
You're the only one who doesn't have it. Yes, you should get it, man. But in this version, it says the costume is in a barrel full of flames, so he actually lights it on fire in this.
Yeah, that was very...
Has some conviction in this one.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I was like, holy shit, he just fully does not want this anymore, which is... like I said, it was cool, because usually they wrestle with that. They didn't really wrestle with that in the first movie, where he's like, maybe this isn't something I want to do, but that's very common in adaptations of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Now it has that finality to it, like Alex said, as also like we're not going to be able to get Jameson in the suit in this one. Sorry guys, it's not in the script.
Yeah, unfortunately, the best scene.
He shows up there. He's like, no.
Jameson is hiding in another dumpster adjacent to this one, and
he's the
comes out and grabs it. Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
Oh my god.
Jigsaw Jameson Harry... from the animated series says he went by in that show sometimes.
Harry Osborn, meanwhile, is distraught with this reveal that Peter is Spider-Man, not knowing that Peter just quit being Spider-Man. I love this shit. This happens all the time in the Spider-Man comics. So he sits on a park bench, and that's when we get something of a ghost himself.
I'm something of a ghost myself.
So Norman Osborn shows up here, pushing him towards revenge. So take that, all you internet grifters who claim that Willem Dafoe was just randomly walking by and got a cameo on set. This shit was planned from the beginning. That to have Norman Osborn show up in Spider-Man 2 as the ghost to push Harry towards his destiny.
That's how you do a callback in a sequel.
Right, exactly. So Norman tells Harry that he can act like a man, which is right out of The Godfather, and never apologize, which is right out of that's in Spectacular Spider-Man.
I was just gonna say, that's in the first episode of Spectacular.
Yeah, so I'm just like,
don't apologize. I never do.
I never do.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, even though obviously Spectacular Spider-Man didn't exist at this point, but it's so
fucking Wiseman stole it from this.
Yeah. Everybody read the script apparently.
Goddamn.
He's a thief. My script says
menace.
Greg Wiseman is a menace.
They put a question mark at the end so we don't get sued.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Harry aims to make his father proud of him and go after Peter. And so we have the stage set where the villain for the next few pages is not Doc Ock, but Harry Osborn. And that's where we get a little bit of a Spider-Man 3 type flavor to the proceedings.
Then he puts he gets on the snowboard, and then
I was gonna say has the ski goggles or like
the skater gear.
Yeah.
There's no goblin suit in this one, guys. But there's some other stuff that'll be very interesting. A very different type of costume is going to show up soon. So we'll talk about that after our final break. So see you guys. Hey everyone, I wanted to share about my manga, Musashi and Son, the one that you heard about in the previous break. It is my take on the legendary samurai, the real-life samurai Miyamoto Musashi. I had the pleasure of discussing this at LA Comic-Con with fellow podcasters Jonathan London of Geekscape and Zach Schaefer of $2 Late Fee. You can check out the episode Geekscape Live at Comic-Con, LA Comic-Con 2025 for the full panel. But this is just a snippet where Zach of $2 Late Fee got to ask me about it, and we went more into it. So check it out. Thank you.
Can I ask Ben a question?
Yeah, of course. You guys are you guys are on the same network. Please, you're friends.
I only see Ben. I see Christian maybe more than that, but Ben once a year. Ben has like 3 or 4 comics in front of us and a graphic novel trade looks like. And I looked through one. It's Musashi and Son.
Yeah.
And
I sold that at a panel.
Beautiful illustrations, but I just kind of went through the writing a little bit. It's really fantastic.
Ben's a really good writer.
Ben's got some cool stuff here. I'm kind of tripping out. But I look at Musashi and Son, and I'm like, James Liu would be a great lead in if there was a film version of this. Put some beard on him and put a long hair, for ponytail and whatnot. I think it would be pretty awesome. But I'm tripping over your stuff. It's so cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been in the works for a while. I mean, the first time that Jonathan brought me onto the panel, I was like, I've got issue 1 in the works, and now I got 3 of one series, and the other one is Musashi and Son, which is, we sold a copy of it earlier today at a panel because it catches your eye. Like the Ira is the name of the artist, and she does fantastic work, and she's also like really fast and does fantastic work, which is rare in the comics industry. So I owe her pages because she's a lot faster than I am in the writing, so I have to do it. But yeah, it's essentially based off the real life story of Miyamoto Musashi, who like is known for the Book of Five Rings and all these duels. But one thing that I found out about his life was that he adopted this one child that he found who was an orphan. The orphan was sharpening a sword, and he's asking, "Why are you sharpening the sword?" And the kid says, "Well, my father died yesterday. I'm not strong enough or big enough," because he's like 10, "to carry him up the hill to bury him. So I'm going to take the sword, I'm going to chop my father in half and take it up in 2 trips." And Musashi says, "How about you don't cut your father in half, I help you, but in return, I train you to be a warrior." And so he trains this boy to become a samurai himself. Flash forward many years later, they fight side by side together in a battle. We don't really know what happens in between. So this story is about how that came about.
Wait, hold up. Is this folklore? Or is this actually...
This is the folklore.
This is the legend as it was told, yeah?
This is the legend of Musashi.
This is a great story.
I'm going through, like, here are the details of that, where you have a child whose father is a fisherman, a farmer. He's someone who's been shown affection the way that we're used to. But Musashi, his only way to show that he cares is to teach a kid how to kill somebody.
Because right here in this panel room, Zach's son is sharpening a sword that was given to him by somebody on the Comic-Con floor. And we just need Zach to keel over. And we can see if Bodhi
will come over.
We'll see if Bodhi wants to. Hey, Bodhi, you want to split your dad in half? I ain't training you to do nothing.
And if there would be a role for Steven Seagal in the film version, everything we've talked about would actually be synergized in one thing.
I loved working with James Liu. I'd love to work with James Liu again, but Steven Seagal and Bodhi
as a minor character. We know James is the lead, but there has to be somebody Steven could be.
There are villains.
Perfect.
Because the boy lost his father in my version.
He gets a cake thrown at him and he eats it.
And so Musashi's like, "I'm going to train you to wipe them out."
So a Russian sympathizing bandit. So
Ben,
we found a spot for
where
Steven
can we get
Seagal.
this book? Where can we get your book?
You can get it on Amazon, or if you're here, if you're interested, you can just buy it off of me. I have copies.
We got 20 minutes left in this con. What are you talking about?
And that is Musashi and Son. You can check it out in the Amazon link below under my author page. We have Volume 1, The Ring of Earth, that you heard me talk about, and then Volume 2, The Ring of Water, is releasing this year in 2026. You can get both off of Amazon. You can also get merch on our TeePublic that we list below under my name. You get all the superhero stuff you should know merch that I talked about earlier, but also Musashi and Son. So check that out. Thank you. Alfie says, "Welcome back, everybody, to Spider-Man Stuff You Should Know." Wow, there's a lot of Alfie in this.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
I know.
So yeah,
it's the Alfie
Dr.
show.
Connors,
the 4th guest,
is back. Yes, he's the recurring co-host. Yeah, Dr. Connors is back. He tells Peter he needs to redo his paper, and he then takes a more sympathetic approach. Connors kind of goes from just like, "You suck, Peter," to be like, "Okay, outside of being your teacher,
fuck you, Peter."
Fuck you, Peter. But also, I'm concerned about you. But also, fuck you.
But not at the same time. But still, also, fuck you.
That's accurate. I feel like I've had teachers like that before.
Yeah. I think we all have at some point.
But it does give Connors a personality. It does make him memorable out of this. Because, like, nothing against Dylan Baker, but if you watch Spider-Man 2, he stands out as a comic book fan, but a regular everyday person is just like, he's just a teacher who,
he's in, like, one scene of Spider-Man 2, the actual movie.
Yeah. That and the raindrops keep falling on my head sequence. Where
that too.
He calls on Peter. Yeah.
I've been trying to be there. Then be there.
Then be here.
But yeah, Connors here kind of reminds Peter of a similar idea about great power becoming great responsibility. And so we go from here to probably one of the most awkward group dates in script history. We've got Peter with Gwen, MJ with her co-star Eric, because I guess she's with him now. And Harry Osborn is now with a girl named Stephanie who has not been introduced at all before this point in the script.
Came out of fucking nowhere.
That kind of works, though, with his plan and everything.
It does.
Because, like, if she's just some random, it's like, that kind of works a little bit.
It also doesn't really feel out of character for Raimi-verse Harry specifically. Like, he would do that. It just still is kind of, like, gives you whiplash when you read it because you're like, what the fuck? Where'd she come from?
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if this was just some actress that he hired to be like, hey, you're going to pretend to be this so I can set up this wedding.
Because they described that he's with a woman before they reveal her name, right? I thought it was going to be like her name is Felicia or something. All they say.
They weren't going to pull an Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. What'd you say her name was?
But yeah, he is claiming that he's going to get married. Harry's going to get married to Stephanie and wants Peter to be his best man. And, and then he starts digging at Peter, with a very sly grin on his face, just like Harry in Spider-Man 3, saying, we don't have secrets between us, right, Pete? And, talks about how they all need to outgrow their school crushes as another jab at Peter and MJ. Again, feels very foreshadowing of Harry being like, oh, I'm going to pretend to be all friendly with Peter.
But it looks like the Joker here.
He did, when Spider-Man 3 came out and these scenes came out, I'm just like, yeah, he actually does have a very Joker face.
I've never actually thought of that until just now.
Yeah, he's got a very Joker type face, which fits with him being Goblin.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Octavius, meanwhile, is preparing to make the deal with not Chameleon. And he realizes that the refractor that he has is fake. It's a random chandelier crystal. Who knew? And that Harry Osborn
it's the hit Rihanna song "Chandelier." Or not
Sia,
Rihanna,
isn't it?
It's Sia. Yeah, sorry.
I wasn't.
I was thinking of a different song. I was thinking of "We Found Love."
Oh yeah. So Harry switch them out. So he's going to go after Harry, and now it's time for Harry's wedding at the Oscorp Atrium Ballroom. Even Jameson is there to butt in to get the story. And then when we get there,
someone's camera up, like he knocks
he does.
Like, sorry.
That was a pretty funny scene.
Dog.
Yeah,
it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Inside we have Peter meeting. I guess Dr. Connors is invited to Osborn's thing,
which is say everybody.
I was gonna say, but it is weird because they've never, as far as we know, interacted. Like in the first movie, Harry he kind of seems in passing to know who Dr. Connors is when Peter's like, "Oh yeah, he fired me."
Dr. Connors, for some reason, is invited to Harry Osborn's wedding. Who knew they knew each other?
Yeah.
Harry acknowledges, "Oh, man, I'm sorry Dr. Connors fired you," in the first movie. But, that's like if one of you guys said, "Oh, my God, my boss fired me." I'd be like, "Oh, that sucks." But that doesn't mean I have a personal friendship with your boss.
Yeah.
That just means I know the situation.
Yeah. I know. I'm shocked. I thought you and my boss were, tight, bro.
Yeah, and I'll invite him to my wedding, even though he fired you. So,
I know.
That's how this will work, I guess.
Friend of the bride or groom.
Yeah. Both. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they have that line too, and it just confuses you even more.
Crisis on Earth X, everybody.
Oh, dear God.
Since CW, yeah. But anyway, Peter he's an usher, and he ushers in Dr. Connors and his wife, who did not make it into either the Raimi version or the final cut of The Amazing Spider-Man, even though she is in those deleted scenes, like Brady brought up.
Yeah.
Connors brings up, hey, guess what? I found something. Those genetically altered spiders, they lost their power because of a nutritional imbalance. Calcium and protein can help restore your powers. And I'm just like, wait, this is just an easy fix. All he's got to do is get some more calcium and protein in his diet.
Eat a fucking banana, bro. And then
this just seems like he was running out of pages, basically, and he's just like, I got to wrap this up somehow. I didn't really think this through. Maybe he was calcium deficiency.
Maybe this was like Avi Arad or Sony being like, all right, see what you can do now that the first movie is out. See what you can do. And we'll
you have to have the tie-in. We have that Got Milk ad.
Literally.
Oh man, I should have included that Got Milk thing.
That Got Milk ad, I'm pretty sure it might have been before the movie, but I would have to double check that.
Yeah. Well, they would have had a perfect clip to use.
I know. It's like that one Flash script that has a Got Milk poster with Wally on it.
That one. Yeah. I forgot about that. But yeah, this one even more so. So yeah, Harry is at his wedding. There we go. Harry, this is his face. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he sort of shows affection while holding a secret that he has plans against Peter. And Peter tells him good luck. And Harry critically says, "Good luck to you, Peter Parker," puzzling him. Peter's just like, "What do you mean? How come you said that all creepy and shit?"
I did actually enjoy that moment.
Yeah. I kind of did too. Some shit's gonna go down.
Yeah.
Right? At this wedding, Peter's date is Gwen. MJ's date is Eric, the actor, soap opera actor that she's with. Peter is walking MJ down the aisle, however, and MJ brings up that she thinks Gwen is falling for him and wants Peter not to do to Gwen what he did to her and pushing her away and keeping secrets from her.
This is a good moment.
Yeah, I like this part too.
Yeah. Peter's spidey sense is going off, but he tries to push through it in order to try to confess to her. Right when he does, Doc Ock enters, shattering the glass ceiling and demands the real refractor from Harry Osborn. During the chaos, Peter sees a falling girder heading towards Dr. Connors and his wife. His powers fail him, but he's able to kind of save him, except Dr. Connors' arm is crushed by a falling girder, obviously setting up the lizard.
So this was a weird phenomenon I was thinking about earlier. They do this in a similar thing in the Insomniac Spider-Man 2 video game. Like they do a weird way where Connors loses his arm. It's like him and a science team find the symbiote meteor that lands in the middle of this field. Connors reaches for it and it wraps around his arm and presumably like takes his entire fucking arm off, because that's a flashback. And then when we cut back to the present, he's armless as normal. But that just made me think, why is that like twice in a row? Like if I had a nickel for every time that happened.
You have 2 nickels, but it's weird it happened twice.
Yeah, I was going to say the Dr. Doofenshmirtz me.
Yeah, I was about to say thanks, Doc.
I think it's interesting to have it in here. I don't think it's as really necessary. I mean, it's just like, all right, he doesn't have his arm. Like we just set it up.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
It's
that they
not
put it in here. I wasn't
an important plot thread. You could have just had him without the arm the entire movie, and nothing really changes.
Yeah, because at a certain point, I forgot when I realized it. I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's not armless.
Yeah, so did I, because it had been like a few days between when I read the beginning half and when I read the later half. I was like, wait, what? He had what? I don't remember that.
I think it's what happens when you read this as a comic fan, because David Koepp's not going to randomly put in parentheses has both arms on a random character, and someone reading it who doesn't know the comics is going to be like, wait, what do you mean?
Which is probably most of the executives at Sony.
Exactly. But yeah, it's interesting. It's cool that it was in there. I will say that is actually not in the July 11th draft. We were looking at the July 12th one. In the July 11th one, there's specifically one where Peter saves a random pair of bystanders when the girder falls. There is not a Connors losing his arm setup. Connors is still in the rest of the script. He's still there, but the whole thing about him losing his arm. So maybe what Koepp was thinking the next day. He's like, shit, you know what would be cool? What if he had his arms the entire time? And he just loses it from the girder.
Doing some lizard setup when you don't. I mean, like we said, the arm isn't really important. So he could have just kept him saving the civilians. But I think, I don't know. It wasn't necessary.
Though you could also play around if the idea is like Spider-Man 3, the lizard, and the second Goblin. You can have the whole it's the recency of him losing the arm. Because in all other versions, it's like, well, he doesn't have another arm. That's it. Like that's the kind of the thing.
Like that's the whole crux of the Amazing Spider-Man and Spectacular is just him trying to grow his arm back.
Yeah, but in this one, it's like, okay, well, we saw the tragedy, we saw him lose it, and so maybe that was the idea from Koepp, but who knows?
Yeah, it would have been interesting if it was important to the story.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was just setting up for the next one. We'll see. Peter takes off after Doc Ock and steals a little kid's carton of milk so he can get the calcium.
Dear
Cut to the
God.
Milk commercial. The milk industry, the dairy industry is now funding this movie.
Oh my God. I could have seen that though. Like if they had gone with this script, I could see the milk cartons on the shelves in stores with the front sticker having like Spidey on it, shooting a web or hanging upside down or something.
Is this why you think this movie would have been more expensive?
No, we're not at that scene yet. There is a scene that I was reading it. I was like, dear God, this would have been very budget heavy.
So Peter's like, I got to change to Spider-Man. Superman rips his shirt open only to realize he's wearing a Mets shirt underneath.
Which was a very funny gag.
Yeah, I don't know why he's wearing that underneath.
My dad would have appreciated that shout out. He loves the Mets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I realized he burned his costume, and so he has to go buy a Spider-Man costume from the Halloween shop, just like Miles does in Into the Spider-Verse.
Which also, there are mentions of Daredevil and Wolverine, which I thought were pretty cool, because when he's digging through the costume bin, he finds a Daredevil outfit and a Wolverine outfit, which marks
and Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer too. That's right. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, which is the second time that Daredevil has been mentioned in Raimiverse adjacent material, because he's brought up in the novelization.
Oh yeah,
for the first movie.
Yeah. I remember Alex told me about that. Yeah,
because apparently that wrestler that's like, "Oh God, my leg," is supposed to be Jack Murdock.
But then how much older is Spider-Man than Daredevil in this universe?
Who knows? Then
I'm like, wait a minute.
That's
so
what the
Matt Murdock is a kid?
That's what the novelization made it seem like, was that it was supposed to be that guy.
Peter David should have thought that one through. But
well,
anyway,
you guys know the backstory for like where that line came from, right? Oh God, I can't feel my legs.
No.
Apparently that was based off of either the writer or somebody had heard that in real life, like after someone got injured, like in a wreck or something like that, like heard them say that and wrote it into the script.
Jesus.
Huh.
I know.
That's interesting.
On that
they
note,
also hear somebody throw a very homophobic insult at somebody else and then put that in.
No, that was the early 2000s in general.
Yeah.
It was just kept going. I think this is funny and won't age poorly in 20 years.
We have the Halloween shop where he gets his costume, and Spider-Man is prepared to come in the costume, and this is what Alex has rendered for us in terms of what that would look like.
That's hilarious.
Laughing at him.
Yeah, the Spider-Man. I even
costume.
drew the Spider-Man like on the back logo because they always do that shit with the Halloween costumes where they write the name of the character.
Ben Cooper Halloween outfit.
I was totally
and then the little tag. Little tag is kind of like it's a dual thing. So obviously it's like it's not a good like costume, but also it's like the call out to Spectacular Spider-Man with this tag constantly being out the back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The have you seen, either of you, the Ted series on Peacock?
I haven't. I've only seen clips. I want to watch it.
It's fucking hilarious. But there's a moment in the Halloween episode where Ted and Johnny are throwing eggs at people, and they throw one at a kid who's wearing like a Ben Cooper Hulk costume, and they're like, "The Hulk doesn't have the Hulk written on his chest."
Classic, yeah. It's totally Seth MacFarlane getting at that, probably thinking that from his childhood or something.
Probably. It was fucking hilarious.
So over at the wedding, Harry comes forward to try to save everyone, bringing up that he's the one Octavius wants. Ock threatens his bride-to-be, Stephanie, and then when that doesn't work, he threatens MJ. Notably, Harry only hands over the real refractor when MJ is in trouble, not when Stephanie is. Carrying over that love triangle that was set up in the first one.
Harry.
Yeah. Spider-Man in his cheap-ass Halloween costume shows up to save everyone. Ock activates the rotors in his tentacles, which allow him to fly, so that's new.
Which Spider-Man was fucking awesome, by the way. I was reading that going,
I don't know if that would have looked goofy, though, in a movie.
If he's flying?
I think it
might at the time.
I think it would have been cool. You see Molina with the sunglasses and the long coat, and suddenly he's like lifting off. And that would have been cool. Among all the wedding stuff, Spider-Man webs onto Ock's rotor tentacle, and as this happened, this is when Spidey gets to say, "I'm back." So this is a different context to him back.
My back.
My back.
My back. Yeah. And this is kind of the part where I start going, this is getting a little expensive and kind of big here.
Yeah. The flying
could have, cut down on stuff.
It's more than just the flying.
The flying scenes leading to
the helicopters is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
because Ben will bring it up later. But the helicopters is all I'm gonna say on that.
Yeah, we're almost there anyway.
You could pull that off on it depends how you film it.
Shoestring budget.
Yeah. I mean, like you could put. I mean, the 70s they were doing stuff with the Superman catching the helicopter.
That's
everything.
True.
Like you could do it where you shoot a certain way. Or Smallville did that all the time, where they would have him stop a helicopter with his hand or something like that. Like you could find a way to do it.
That's true. It just reminded me of one of those moments from Sam Hamm's, I think it's Batman 2 script, where he's fighting all those people or he's like with Catwoman or something in like the subway station. I think that's the scene. And it's just like they would not have done this. There's no fucking way.
Well, why not though?
It just seems kind of impractical that like they'd have Batman, because isn't he gliding at the same time too? And like CG wasn't good back then.
I don't know. I think they could have found a way to do it. Like, I don't think they would have been CG'd at that point.
True, they could have used miniatures, yeah.
And then a close up with him in front of a blue screen, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Anyway, a doctor's trying to help Dr. Connors, but brings up that he may lose his arm. Spoiler alert, he probably does.
He looks at the camera whenever he says that.
This is the last scene we see Dr. Connors in the script as well.
Yeah. It's like, this is maybe a hint about the next movie, says the doctor.
Maybe wait, everybody step back. He's gonna lose his arm and maybe become a lizard man probably in the next one. I don't know.
Audio Rod's really pushing for Venom. It's like a Back to the Future Part 2 with the wallet, where it's like I'm a doctor. God. It's like, wait, I think he stole that guy's wallet. Like talking about like Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think he stole that guy's pizza.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, that too.
The doctor, this doctor, he seemed to know everything. That he was going to turn into a lizard and everything. What was his name? Stephen Strange.
Oh my God, that would have been so cool. That's my headcanon now. Is that doctor is Stephen Strange?
He may lose his arm. He says, You just take Cumberbatch
as
from that
he's
wedding
doing
scene.
That with the time stuff.
Bruce Campbell's weirdly playing him too.
Oh my God, dude! Yeah. Bruce Campbell as Doctor Strange, though, just based on like looks alone, is actually like phenomenal casting. For that era.
We don't have the snooty Usher character that Campbell actually would have needed a different role for him. So maybe him as the Doctor
just
turning
full
and being
outfit.
Like, he's gonna lose his arm. He says,
just
with
the cape and everything, and no one questions it either. They're not like, why the fuck is this guy wearing a tuxedo with a giant red cape?
I just saw an octopus man. Nothing surprises me anymore.
That's true. They do live in a world with Spider-Man and the Green fucking Goblin. They should not be surprised about this stuff anymore.
He just shows up like that at the wedding, or maybe it's just like what Cumberbatch in the beginning of Doctor Strange 2, where he's like in the tux, and then when it's time to go, he
jumps off the roof and the cape comes onto him and everything.
Yeah, he's wearing a suit, or he could wear a suit sometimes, like just with the cloak, it still would work.
Yeah,
that's the headcanon though. Bruce Campbell cameoing as Doctor Strange with the goatee and everything, turning to the camera and being like, he might lose his arm.
He might lose his arm.
He's got to do the eyes too. He might lose his arm.
All right, so now we get the big Spidey Doc Ock fight. This includes a crash through an apartment dinner party. This includes the elevated train fight that we get in the final movie.
Yeah, which was really cool to see, because you can see where you can definitely, like we were saying, now that we're more into it, I can talk more in detail on this, but we were kind of alluding to this earlier. It is weird to see that David Koepp didn't get a story by credit, at least on the actual movie, when a lot of this stuff, like they lift part of that Doctor Strange bit word for word from his his Spider-Man from this script. So it's like, why did he not at least get a story credit? Because he's got the train, he's got the Doctor Strange line. He was probably the one who pitched Doc Ock as the villain of Spider-Man 2. So it just feels weird.
Him in the first one,
because it just feels kind of weird that they basically just ignore him in the second movie.
Unless it is one where that was... We'll take a look at the timeline in terms of where Goff and Miller... But you're right, where like it would just make sense that they would be like, Koepp, you wrote the first one. Why don't you start working on the second one now that this movie's a hit? I'm like, all right, here we go. Here's the script. And then they work off of there, as opposed to being like, hey, like, you guys on Smallville, why don't you work on the sequel, even though we're not even sure yet if this is going to be a hit. It's a hit. Let's get it over to the guy who worked on the first one. I was going to
say it could have been a thing, where they're just like, hey, test the waters. Maybe a sequel will come. Maybe it won't. Like, maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, maybe.
And so they just kind of had him throw shit out there, see what worked, and then they were going to bring in their own guys anyway. Yeah. But it still feels kind of shitty not to give him credit, even if that is the case.
It depends on what's in those, too. Because if there's just like, okay, it's going to be Doc Ock, Peter doing the Spider-Man No More, him kind of losing his powers, there's going to be a train fight. I'm like, okay, then like you can kind of see how he would, if it didn't originate from him, he didn't get credit. Because usually story by is whoever does the first crack.
Yeah. Black Cat is in one draft. I think it's one of the early Go and Miller drafts.
Maybe, yeah. We'll have to take a look at it. But anyway, this is what we got going on. Doc Ock gets off the train, climbs onto the top of the transatlantic building. Now he has the refractor he needs to make the sail to not Chameleon. So the guy's helicopter arrives to carry Doc Ock and the refractor out of the country, but Spider-Man arrives to prevent him from escaping. Doc Ock fights Spider-Man and shows more megalomania. He has a line saying to stop him is like trying to stop the sun from rising, which feels like the closest we get to the power of the sun. Yeah. Using a rooftop air conditioner, copper cable, and power line, Spider-Man turns the AC unit into an electromagnet, which then locks onto the metal tentacles while the helicopter's pulling from other directions
and turns Dr. Octavius into Electro.
Oh my god, yeah, that, and then I'm like, wait, we've never seen this before, at least as far as I remember. Tentacles, this basically forces the tentacles to get ripped away from Doc Ock, disabling Dr. Octopus. And I'm like, oh shit, how have I never seen this before?
As far as I know, we've never seen that either. It's very interesting to see, like, that's where he went with it, because I thought he was just going to have it as, like, the limbs went floppy when he got electrocuted, because that's typically what happens.
Oh, yeah, he's like, and then he just goes.
It was very interesting to see that, like, they just ripped the fucking limbs off Dr. Octavius, and he's not dead somehow, even though that's pretty much a part of his body at this point.
Animated. Like this moment where, like, you see, like, they get severed and everything, and you see it,
like,
break
I can
apart
see it happening in a cartoon.
Well, I could see it with Alfie wants to jump to the Patreon.
His arms also.
Oh, yeah.
Let's pick up the pace, man.
Stage bat and
stage bat. No, his arms are also described as, like, being really more stretchy than they are in the actual movie, which I'm pretty sure he is a actual thing from comics, at least. I think it might be, but it, they stretch a lot further than they do in the movie, because he's, like, holding two helicopters with two sets of his arms, which is what I was reading this and I was like, this seems like very expensive set piece.
You could pull it off though.
When I was drawing the arms for this, that's why I kind of drew the arms. One, because it'd be less detail, but, like, two, like, I was kind of picturing it because it kind of looks like the Spectacular Spider-Man arms a little bit too in my head, but, like, also the stretching, like the telescoping, I was picturing when it really stretches out, you see, like, the under part of it. Like, obviously I didn't draw that, but, like, when it stretches, like, you see, like, the connecting parts underneath. Maybe it's, like, underlit too when it stretches out, basically.
Yeah, because it really rips them away from the harness that's attached to his body.
So I obviously did the burn marks though too, because it's fused to him.
Yeah. So, like, now he just has a metal thing around his body that's fused to him.
Which they do kind of say that, like, it was cool in Spectacular Spider-Man because they're like, the arms retract, but they don't come off. So he still has, like, the metal brace around his body.
It's a nice twist.
But they just retract into it. They don't, like, come off.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of do that in this too, right? Because don't they say, like, it kind of it goes in basically in whenever he's walking around sometimes, and then will come out.
I didn't picture it
say
like
that in the script a
little
bit.
Yeah, I didn't picture it retracting that way. Maybe maybe they retract a little bit, where, like, it goes from being super long to being just long.
Yeah.
Or like in Spider-Verse, where they do that, where, like, she takes the thing off and it goes, like,
that's true.
Then,
I don't know if I picture that with this version though.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
Spider-Man. Basically picturing Alfred Molina dressed like Ultimate Doc Ock this whole time when I was reading this.
That's also why I did this like back hair too. It was a combination of Spectacular and kind of that look. This one he's more
see the Spectacular
evil.
DNA.
Yeah. His face is very Spectacular Doc Ock.
Yeah. So nice
Thanks,
job,
guys.
Spider-Man takes back the refractor and tells Ock he's going to prison for the murder of Richard and Mary Parker. I don't know what his evidence is, but we'll just forget about that.
The police arrive and Spider-Man tells Peter,
it's the end of the movie. Don't worry about it.
At the beginning of the script, that, like,
he tells him, but how's he going to prove that in the court? Like,
that's
true.
I
guess he goes in to say, like, well, he told me that.
Maybe that was just Peter's way of saying, like, hey, now you know who I am. We both know who each other are now.
It's gonna be like Batman Forever, where he's in the courtroom, basically.
He leaps across the courtroom. This man killed them.
He's like a star witness or something. Yeah. Now we have Mr. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Don't forget the hyphen.
Yeah.
Spider-Man returns the refractor to the Empire State Building flagpole, securing his parents' legacy yet again. And speaking of parents' legacy, Harry moves back into his dad's old mansion where he gets to see.
I was just about to do it.
Yeah, he gets to see his father in the mirror, just like in the movie.
Coward.
Harry throws the chair at the mirror, and behind it, he discovers the Goblin Room, the glider, the pumpkin bombs, and the green serum, which he then uses to douse himself, and repeats the line from the end of the first one, where he says, I swear on my father's grave, Spider-Man will pay. So
I like this better than like
I did
obviously
too.
I love in the movie too what they do. It's really good, but this one just more leaning into, because we obviously see some of this in Spider-Man 3, but this one just being like, no, he's gone. Like he's basically like this is who he is now.
I wish I think it fits the arc of the movies, but I really wish it was like we didn't have two goblins in the trilogy. Like they could have saved him for the fourth movie, or if they got more movies. But I don't entirely hate the idea. It's just kind of like you could have used somebody else, but I'm not mad that he used Green Goblin twice.
Well, I think the basically Peter, MJ, and Harry are like the core of the Raimi movies. So like it made sense to me to have them in, but it does get a little clunky where it's just like, oh, now it's like a new version of the Goblin.
Yeah,
like, I get that.
Yeah, that was kind of my what I was trying to say.
But yeah, that's also why like even though Spider-Man 4 would have been really cool, I'm kind of like, the way that it ended does kind of feel like a perfect cap to just like the end, like the last bit of the story for those three characters.
It's like, and I'm surprised this is the first time I'm bringing this up this episode, but it's almost like the Toy Story trilogy where 3 kind of just wraps everything up perfectly, and you don't really need a fourth one. Right. But unlike the Spider-Man trilogy, we got a fourth one for Toy Story anyway.
And a fifth one,
which 5 is not actually bad.
Alfie.
Bro, Alfie just really wants us to
like, come on,
over with. Damn,
let's go.
He's like, we gotta wrap this shit up, man.
Alfie's like, hurry the fuck up, dude.
All right, so we have some other stuff. Peter meets MJ outside the studio, tells her that he wants to confess something to her, and she's like, oh my god, it's the moment. And he says, I love you. MJ's like, no, that's not what I wanted. She wanted him to confess that he's Spider-Man because she didn't want any secrets between the two of them. She asked him to tell her the actual truth, but Peter says he can't, and so she walks away heartbroken. Gwen
and runs right past Thomas Jane, who is not in the movie, by the way.
Who's not Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
The ending, Gwen goes to the original movie, even though it's problematic, she ran out on her own wedding, but like, this one frustrated me, man.
It pissed me off too,
Yeah. Because it feels like we're exactly where we ended the first one off, and I'm like, this feels both. I told this to Alex before we started. This script now kind of feels both overcrowded and also not much happened.
Yeah,
and undercooked in terms of just like, why does it feel like not much happened? Whereas like in the final film, you've got MJ for sure now like sees him unmasked, knows that he's Spider-Man, decides to be with him, like all that type of stuff. It's a dream come true, all of a sudden. Like I thought it was a gutsy move to just be like, no, she's going to find out in this one, and the third one is all the problems that come about with their
relationship. But then you get that graduate ending too, kind of, in the second one where like there's that moment where it's like, oh, she's so happy, and then like he flies off, and she's like, oh shit, like maybe I messed up, like maybe I'm not sure about this now.
And you see a little more of that in Spider-Man 3 too.
Yeah. So Gwen. Peter goes to Gwen. Gwen welcomes Peter into her apartment, but he's thinking about MJ. And meanwhile, MJ is with Eric, and she's thinking about Peter. She's out at Central Park, donning sunglasses, but crying behind them.
That's such classic 70s Spider-Man comic feel, though. Like,
Yeah. Back in his bedroom, Peter's doing gymnastics and then puts on the mask, and his voiceover reframes Spider-Man as his chosen identity. He is the son of Richard and Mary Parker,
which
the
name
they gave
not who I have to be now, because I choose to be.
I choose to be.
I choose to be. Yeah, that
I'm
felt
both Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
That felt very much like, to me, it was like, so you're just repeating the same shit he said at the end of the first one, but you're wording it differently?
He is. You know what?
Yeah,
because it was good the first time.
It was very
together
good
the same way. Yeah, it just doesn't come together in the same way because I'm just like, oh, like I figured out who I am. I'm just like, oh, like let's look at what really happened. Like, you lost faith in yourself for being. Well, actually, you didn't even really lose that much faith in yourself for too much of the movie compared to the final film. But
it's just
you did for a little bit. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about like the Captain Stacy stuff where he does do the Spider-Man No More stuff. But I'm like,
I was gonna die soon anyway. He's so old. Was
that really an identity thing? I mean, it doesn't quite come together as much with the whole like, oh, like I figured out who I am. Like there wasn't really something where I'm like, okay, who did he really learn that he was?
It was almost more telling than showing because he kept saying, I don't know who I am, but I never really saw that reflected like in the story. I'm like, wait, what's making you feel like that?
It was all in the dialogue of like, oh, this is the thing. Isn't that right, Alfie? Who's blocking my fucking camera again? You gotta hurry it up, bro.
Yeah, avenge me! I need food. Avenge me! Avenge my bowl with food.
Alfie just starts
but yeah, the name that he was given was Peter. The name he gives himself is Spider-Man. He leaps out into the city now that he knows who he is. This identity crisis that is very undercooked in this version of the script, but we have it here. And that closes out the Koepp script of Amazing Spider-Man. So yeah, like we said, it has the DNA of Spider-Man 2, but I also feel, and I think we all kind of agree on this, pretty much almost nearly everything that makes it in Spider-Man 2 is done better in Spider-Man 2.
100%. That's right. That's why I made my username Mediocre Spidey Script.
This one didn't take as many risks as the final film did.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. If we didn't have the final film, let's say for whatever reason, Spider-Man 2002, that was just it. There never was a sequel. And then we had this, we'd be like, oh, well, this would be pretty cool. But because we got what we got, it's like, well, all right, I kind of see some of the DNA, but it doesn't come together in the same way.
What's the saying? It's like comparison is the thief of joy or something.
Yeah.
Similar to
that.
It
was weird.
But it's like, oh, sorry, Alex.
Go ahead,
if anything, we're more joyful that we got the movie we got.
Yeah.
Imagine if the reverse happened and we read the script that like they actually made this, but there's a script version out there of what the final movie was, and we read that and we're like, wait a minute, this would have been way better.
Yeah, that was pretty much what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, it's really weird. They only made like 2 Spider-Man movies, and then they just didn't make anything after that. That was really weird.
I know. Well, no. Well, would we still have the MTV series at that point too? Because then you could look at that as kind of a sequel, because that was the intention at first. Was this is canon, and we have Rob Zombie
even though he's
as
blonde
the
in this, like Harry
window.
and Norman are blonde in this for some reason.
Yeah, that was a weird choice if they're trying to make it like pseudo canon. Because Neil Patrick Harris actually kind of does give that Tobey Maguire Peter vibe a little bit. But I'm just like, this Harry is completely different. He's way more of a dick. Like James Franco his Harry Osborn is a dick, but like this guy was just a lot more.
It's offset by more sympathetic moments, you know, as opposed to what we saw of the other one. But small goof I want to point out. Koepp says, the black spider on the back of his suit fills the frame. I'm like, the back is the red spider.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like,
the front is the black spider.
He redesigned
the Halloween
it.
costume had the black spider.
Yeah. Okay. Then I have notes on the other drafts. That are on Koepp's. So it was mainly just the July 11th and then the July 12th that we read, which is interesting because we're recording this in July for a July release. But yeah, previous draft. So a few differences. Does not have MJ mention her desire to live without secrets when she talks to Peter outside of Aunt May's house. I think that's kind of kept adding that in. He added that in to be like, oh, I should make this clearer what I'm trying to do with this character. A few typos. At one point, Richard Parker is named James Parker. I think Koepp forgot.
What the hell?
Yeah, he obviously
Jimmy
revised
Parker.
that by the time we got to it.
To be fair, I will give him a pass on that because it's like what you've brought up in like previous episodes of Sam Hamm's Batman 2.
Yeah.
He couldn't have just gone on like Google or Comixology and been like, what's the name of Peter Parker's dad? He probably had to like go home the next day and reread a comic.
We did still have the internet at the time, though.
That's true.
I mean, Stan Lee would fuck up and call Peter Parker Peter Palmer sometimes.
And he also called Bruce Banner Robert or Bob Banner.
Bob Banner. It's like, oh, his real name is Robert Bruce Banner. I'm just like, okay, well now
this is a little weird.
Point to you, Stan. Yeah. Also has a little bit of dialogue. Actually, the gymnast that Peter befriends actually has some dialogue with Peter, and Peter says, "Hey,
cool.
How's $20 or something?" So that sets up the fact that Peter's going to have him pretend to be Spider-Man, because I think Peter knows that MJ suspects something, so I think he knows that that's going to set that up.
See, that adds more depth to that storyline. That is pretty cool. I don't know why he cut that.
Well, I think it's already implied, right? He already did. Yeah, it's just more blatantly shown that he paid the guy and set it up.
Yeah. It's almost redundant if you show it twice. Like later on, it's kind of a more interesting twist if like it seems like Peter's like, oh, okay, well this kind of works out at first, and then like later on to find out no, he set this up.
Yeah.
It's almost like when they do that in Batman the Animated Series in The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne, when it's Dick Grayson dressed up as Bruce.
Yeah. That was so great. Here's another lizard Easter egg that gets cut. So the version we read, Connors gets after Peter's case for on a paper about mRNA. In the previous draft, it's a paper on phantom limb impulses.
Oh shit.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So again, just laying it on thick. But again, like that's the same draft where Connors doesn't lose his arm, so it's kind of like it's a trade-off. On that, so that would have been the lizard Easter egg outside of the literal small lizard being in his real lab.
Which I mean, either way, like general audience, if that was the movie we saw, general audience isn't gonna get that. But if you're a comic book reader like us, you're like, oh shit, okay, so that
Leonardo DiCaprio thing.
Lizard. Yeah,
just point at the screen.
Whoop.
Yeah. It also has in the script we read, he's like, I'm going to take this out. Octavius discovers that the tentacles have fused to him, and he's like, I'm going to take this out. Right, revenge is on the world. But in the previous one, it's revenge is going to be on Spider-Man.
Oh,
so it's different. That line.
I actually kind of like that more. Like it
makes a little more sense. I think.
Does. Yeah.
Let's see. Harry does end up talking to his dead father in the mirror before the wedding. In the previous version of the script, he talks so the whole like avenge me and that type of stuff. That's before the wedding, which is similar to the final movie.
Like, tie a tie or something in the
now, son, this is how
for the wedding. It's like, all right, then you put it through the loop. Not like that. Damn it, Harry.
I can't do regular Defoe. I can only do like Goblin
Defoe.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't have the origin of Connors losing his arm. It just has Peter saving people from the falling girder. Harry has a different line when he injects himself with the serum. He says, "Whatever I do, what I do for my father," and which is not as good as the callback to like, "I swear on my father's grave, Spider-Man will pay." Because we recognize the callback.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's stronger having the line be the callback to the first movie.
Yeah. So most of these were like good changes. And then the last thing is the final voiceover in this script happens when Spider-Man is returning the refractor to the flagpole, as opposed to him being in his apartment again and then donning the mask and then going out.
Yeah, that kind of combined. That felt a little redundant that they had him as Spider-Man, then Peter, then immediately Spider-Man again right after. It feels kind of redundant.
Yeah. A few other tidbits I've got to share before we wrap, which is that other titles that we could have had. We have Amazing Spider-Man being the title of the script, but those were not the only ones proposed. According to old rumors on Ain't It Cool News, remember that website? Like that was you weren't around, you didn't exist.
Terrible.
Yeah, but this is Spider-Man 2 Lives. Get it? Spider-Man 2? 2 Lives. Yeah.
Oh, I read that Spider-Man 2 Lives.
I did too at first. I was like, are they pulling a Kevin Smith here? Yeah.
But that's probably why they didn't go with it, because I'm like, this is so bad. Nobody knows whether it's Spider-Man 2 Lives or Spider-Man 2 Lives.
Then they got Spider No Man More.
Spider No Man More. I am man no more.
I don't think they would read it that way. Spider-Man No More, I think, is Leo. Spider-Man No More, I'm like, okay, I get that because it's based off the Spider-Man No More comic.
I love that as a title. Like, if you're not going to go with Spider-Man 2, even for like the actual Spider-Man 2, I would love if that was the title. If they didn't decide to go with the number afterwards and they had like a subtitle, Spider-Man No More would have worked perfectly.
That's my favorite of the three for sure. Definitely not Spider-Man 2 Lives, and then Spider-Man Unmasked, which is just kind of generic. Like, it's
my god, it's the cheat code from the video game.
I'm pretty sure I have that guidebook that's like Spider-Man Secrets or something that I'm pretty sure it's called Spider-Man Unmasked.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm pretty sure the cheat code in the game is under the mask, and that's how you unlock the secret game mode where you play as Harry in the Goblin, like the Norman Osborn Goblin suit. Because mini deep dive, Josh Keaton recorded the original dialogue for Spider-Man in the tie-in Tobey Maguire game. And then they were like, well, we got Tobey to do the voice, so we don't really know what to do with Keaton's stuff. So they just put him in a secret unlockable mode. Yeah. So they just kind of relegated him to a secret unlockable mode where it's Harry's voice coming out of the Norman Osborn Green Goblin character model, and you can use the glider and everything.
Nice. So that's for the potential titles, and then I have some information from Koepp in terms of what his plans were for Spider-Man. Ooh. So he said, basically, this is a direct quote, says, basically my trilogy idea was the telling of the Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn story, but I spaced everything out differently. And this is like post the Amazing Spider-Man era. So he means spaced it out differently from the Mark Webb movies. He said, I wanted Gwen to be killed in the middle of the second movie, which is not what we saw.
Yeah, here. I'm like, that's not in this script. We saw Captain Stacy killed in the middle of the script.
Yeah. He says, but that sort of follows the Empire Strikes Back model, and I had different villains I wanted to use, just a different way to tell that story. It's ironic that he said, like, I would have spaced it out differently from the movies. Well, how would you have done that? Well, I would have killed Gwen Stacy in the second movie. I'm like, well, that's exactly what happened.
Who else has done that before?
Real original.
I wonder.
He said the middle of the second movie, though, as opposed to the end. But I'm like, well, we read your script. You didn't even do that. So unless he means like the second sequel, as in the third
movie. Yeah. He could have just been misremembering because, like Ben brought up, he's written tons of movies. So maybe he is just conflating information, or there's a secret draft out there floating around we don't know about.
July 10th, Gwen Stacy is introduced and
I know.
Yeah. He also says there was a time maybe 7 or 8 years ago when I was going to come back for a couple Spider-Man movies after they'd done their first Amazing Spider-Man. So this is all being up for the role of writing Amazing Spider-Man 2 and beyond.
That would have been interesting.
Era. And so this is what crossed my mind because on Koepp's website, he has multiple drafts and one, you've got like, okay, July 11th, 2002, July 12th, 2002, another July 11th, 2002. And then there's one that says like 2012.
Yeah,
and I'm
like talking about that.
I was like, did you just refigure? I thought maybe he might have just taken like, well, this is what I want to do with the second one for Tobey's movies, but I'll just reuse this for Andrew Garfield. And it was going to be a draft that was tailored towards Amazing Spider-Man's universe. Sadly, that was not the case. It was just another copy of the other stuff. So that was not what was going on there. But I thought about this article where he brought up I could have written the Amazing Spider-Man sequels. So he says, quote, on the very first Spider-Man, the Raimi ones, I sort of planned out what I thought the first 3 movies should be, and then all the assorted personalities, it didn't work for me to keep writing the Spider-Man movies. So I was excited to come back to the Mark Webb movies and try to finish the story I started telling in the first one. And as we were about to agree that I was going to do that, I pulled out all the old stuff and I started outlining those 2 movies, and I thought, boy, you can't go home again. That moment has passed. The time when I was really feeling it was 10 years ago, and there was no point in trying to recreate it. So I bailed. Basically, he said that his heart was not in it.
Which it's good that he left at that point if his heart wasn't in it. Because then we probably still would have gotten the half-assed Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, you probably dodged a bullet there. Dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I wonder if he would have had Paul Giamatti in a weird-ass CGI mecha rhino.
I am killer.
So, yeah, that is Spider-Man stuff you should know. Big thanks to Dan, our editor-producer, for gathering the visuals, especially the screenshots.
Yes.
That made us laugh about all this. Thank you, Alex, for your art.
Thank you very much, Alex, for your art, and Dan for the funny-ass visuals. Y'all both killed it this episode.
Appreciate it.
Join us for our Patreon tier. We have a couple ones. Last month, we announced that we were doing an episode on who is Harvey Dent's father, since the announcement was that Charles Dance was playing Harvey Dent's dad in the Batman Part 2. So we go into the comic history of that. And then for this month, we rank Joker voice actors through 2019. So it's a 2-part episode. First part is out. We bring back the ranking episodes. You can thank Alex for bringing that back. Ranking episodes are back. And on the Patreon, we're going to try to reserve the main show for script deep dives, which is what you guys love for this show. So for the main show. Join us, patreon.com/superheroSYSK. In the meantime, as usual, we have a charity drive as opposed to a word from our sponsor. I decided to bring this one back again because it's somebody who I've personally known. That's Valerie Chow, who works as a TV producer. She obviously had a lot of setbacks in her own career, unfortunately, recently due to a lot of health issues, including breast cancer. And so I'm promoting her GoFundMe again at gofundme.com/f/fun-in-fk-cancer, as in fun and fuck cancer. So please donate to her. We're still very far away from our goal, so that's why I'm bringing her back in. And I know the money goes to her because I talked to her. So
I can post the link for that because I don't have a big audience, but I can post a link for this on my community tab. Maybe one of my subscribers will donate.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, any little bit helps, I think, for her. So thank you guys for being a part of that. If any of you guys have donated recently. In the meantime, I figure I might as well give you guys a chance for some plugs because I know Flashbacks is back for season 3. So why don't you guys talk about that?
Yeah. So season 3, we just started back recently. It's decided to be in the season that most people after this jumped off. So we're definitely gonna
including look at myself, which is gonna be interesting for our future episodes.
We're gonna look at it through that lens, like as we talk about it, and maybe even theorize why some people might have jumped. Why some people might have jumped off. Also, got a few episodes in the chamber that I'm going to start cutting and putting up of the Review More Girls, my wife and her cousins, Gilmore Girls rewatch podcast, and then What Me and Now the Batman will come back soon, and then that's it for me. Brady.
Nice. Brady, yeah. Why don't you add your own plugs?
My main squeeze that I think everybody should go check out, Ben mentioned my voice acting work on Neuverse Media as Superman and whatever other random character Tim needs me to voice. I'm always happy to do it. My friend Minnow Films, I kind of brought this up a little bit earlier, does comedic Lego stop-motion animations. I've voiced Superman, Spider-Man, Nightwing, all the Robins.
Nice.
I've done some random background characters too. And I've written their newest video. So when it's all I'm going to say is that it's an adaptation is a strong word of the 3 Jokers storyline. It's a comedic. It's a very comedic, Family Guy, South Park style take on that story. So it's very funny. There's a lot of cool, funny cameo characters and stuff. I'm doing double duty in that one, talking to myself a lot because I'm Nightwing and Robin. So be on the lookout for that when it comes out. And like I said, my main squeeze is my YouTube channel, Zurd Network, ZURDD Network. I do basically a similar thing to this where I do retrospectives on nostalgic TV shows from my childhood, or I do Zurd's Comic Corner, which is my show where I talk about comics and all that stuff. Relevant to this episode, I've done a couple videos on the Ultimate Ultimate series.
Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah.
I've done one, just a general why I love the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. Excuse me. And then I've done one on just the Symbiote Saga. I plan to do more. I just need to go back and reread some of the stuff. I've gotten suggestions to do the Clone Saga, which I'll have to go back and reread that. I remember it being
I'm looking forward
way
to that.
more complex than it needed to be. I have more Comic Corner videos coming out. I have just a video coming out in the realm of nostalgia about the Marvel Mega Bloks blind bag series, which I actually have on. Sorry, if you're on the video version, I have one of the bags in my hand right now. People who are from my generation, my age, will remember seeing these on store shelves back in the day. They're just basically like knockoff Legos to a certain degree, but they got a bunch of Marvel characters. They only went 3 series before Disney decided to piss in everyone's cereal and bought Marvel. So that was fun. But I got a video on them coming out and a video on Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, the basically Lost Media 2D animated Buzz Lightyear series. Both are currently being edited. The Buzz Lightyear video is my longest video I have ever made. It's probably going to be around 50 minutes to an hour fucking long. So
compared to this video,
well, okay, yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm not directly editing this one.
Yeah, I know.
Dan, the maestro that he is working on this one. But yeah, so I'd appreciate if you could go subscribe to the Zerd Network YouTube channel. There'll probably be a link somewhere. I don't want to speak for Ben.
We'll be collaborated.
But
we're gonna add you as a collaborator.
Yeah, that's true. So I'll be down below. You guys can probably view the video on my channel. I'll promote it on like my community tab and stuff. And yeah, I think that's pretty much about it for me.
Nice, cool. Wanted to shout out to one of our fans, Tyke Myers, who made these custom figures of my Batman, the Gotham Guardian, and Firebug, who was voiced by Ian Miller in Batman 89 Gotham Guardian. That is the Neuverse Media audio drama that I wrote and star in. It's the first one that I've released with Tim that was mostly an original story as opposed to adapting a previously Batman comic or tie-in novel or unmade script. This one I actually did write, quote unquote, from scratch within the within
one
the
of your best ones so far, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Set between Batman Returns and the Batman 89 comic series, and brings in Firebug, who is a more obscure character from the comics, but was one of the he was the second to last boss in the Batman 89 NES video game, where you fought him in the bell tower of the Gotham Cathedral, which is a sequence that is adapted into the audio drama and given a whole other context.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this thing where I took all the random villains from those video games and actually put them in stories in that world where like things would make more sense than the actual video game.
Ben was telling me stuff about that in DMs behind the scenes, and he's got some really cool ideas. I'm excited for you guys to hear them.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and I'm excited for those to come out. So yeah, that is currently on Neuverse Media. I know as of this recording, Tim has another one out. I'm not involved in it, so I'm not gonna. No, I mean it's cool. It's cool. It sounds like a cool idea. But our next collaboration that's gonna come out, according to him, is the Darren Aronofsky adaptation of Batman Year One, but set in the Matt Reeves universe. So I've changed things around so that it can fit that universe and fit the Neuverse audience without feeling too diluted, because that was the problem with it. But I listened to he showed me the first 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, okay, this has the feel that we're looking for. It has the feel of the Reeves verse. It has the feel of the Aronofsky script, even if it doesn't have Chi-Chi the pimp or the red light district and prostitutes and stuff like that. Like it's got its own feel. But yeah. Let's go into the comments. So, Alex, this is your man. This is Ruben coming here. So,
oh my God!
Why don't you read on the
I got
Robin
that
facing
Robin
the enemy episode.
Cameo.
Yeah, I got that Robin facing the enemy book at a thrift store a few months ago. Cool discussion on the book, and thank you for the response to my comment. No problem, man.
As always.
How interesting it would be if this story was set after Tim Burton's Batman 3 audio drama.
I don't know if Tim wants to do that. I would be down to come back as Keaton and do that. I would have to say, you disobeyed my order to go after Dozer alone. Like in Boss Magoo in the Burton verse.
Burton would not name a character Boss Magoo.
You don't have what it takes to be a crime fighter. But
Magoo.
we'll figure that out. Boss Magoo. So yeah, it'd be interesting. It's not something we currently have planned. If Tim wants to do it, I'm like, all right, I'll record, my 5 minutes worth of lines for me to show up for like 5 seconds in it. And just have him do the magic from there. All right, next one. Triple Threat Comics. That's our friend Ian.
Hey, we know that guy.
Yeah. He says, I am writing Zack Snyder's Justice League parts 2 and 3. In fact, I wrote the stories for those 2 parts, and I'm trying to find time to write out the audio scripts, so you might see it at Neuverse next year. Same thing with Ben Affleck's The Batman audio drama, Neuverse Media, and Ben Wan. Act surprised when I send you guys the scripts. I mean, it's going to be hard for me to act surprised. I know that he's been working on that for a while. We've talked back and forth about that. And
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't remember if he had previously announced that, but yeah, no, he's working on his own fan comics of them. That similar to Enigma, they'll start as fan comics and then become Neuverse motion comics.
Oh, hell yeah.
To that, and then I've already kind of recorded a little something for one of those, and we'll see when that comes out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
And then Sparkageddon. You can take this one, Alex.
Wow, I didn't know nothing about this book until now. I gotta get it now to my collection.
Hopefully you do. It's a good amount in eBay, I think. I think that's how I got mine.
I need to buy more novelizations like that, because actually next to me here, I have this Spider-Man The Venom Factor. I got this at a thrift store. Nice. This is beat to shit. But I actually started reading this. It's pretty cool. I am not far into it, but
I have one where it's like one of those novels kind of too, but it's with Venom in it, but it's set during a snowstorm or something. I had one of those like growing up. It's like Venom's like, I'll send you guys an image after, but Venom's hanging off the side of like a bus as it's driving, and like the driver's like freaking out. It's like Spider-Man's off to the other side, like swooping in basically. Like I remember that cover. I remember it being good. I remember at one point Venom talking about eating spleens or something like that. So like, I don't know.
Not entirely out of character.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into let's see the next stuff. Oh yeah, just as a preview, in August, Lanterns comes out, which means we're going to tackle Green Lantern, specifically the unmade Jack Black Green Lantern comedy script, which was way better than what Alex and I thought it was going to be. And yes, it is better than the 2011 movie. So we're going to go into
that's not exactly a hard bar to
pass. If you like seeing my art,
it's going to be
this episode. Get ready for a lot more in the next one, because like with it also the thing that helps, I was inspired because I really like the script, but two, it's like with what we're covering, other than like fan like photoshops and stuff, there's not like really any art or anything in it, so like this will help with like the visual aspect to it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that.
If you guys happen to want footage, I've got this gem right here, Green Lantern: Rise of the Manhunters. It is the movie adaptation, or the movie adaptation.
The movie adaptation.
The video game of the movie. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds actually does the voice of Hal Jordan in this game.
And it's probably
that too, but it's also funny because they get Kevin Michael Richardson to voice Kilowog, like in Green Lantern, the animated series, like the show that this movie killed, which I'm still quite bitter about because that series is fucking awesome. But I am excited for you guys to cover that episode.
Yeah. August will be that Jack Black comedy one, and then September will be the actual script that the 2011 movie was trying to do. That it was the original script for that, and why, what that actually was beforehand, and how much
the writer on that one, because I might have read that.
Greg Berlanti.
I don't have that one. I don't think.
Mark Guggenheim.
Yeah, the Arrowverse, the thing we're covering.
The early stages of the Arrowverse.
I honestly forgot he did a draft on Green Lantern. Well, that makes sense though, because in his Flash script, instead of Arrow at the end, it was Green Lantern.
Yeah. So they did Green Lantern, and then they did that Flash script, which we did back in 2023 on the show. And then obviously basically what ended up happening was those writers, the future Arrowverse guys got fired off of that. They were replaced by another writer named Michael Goldenberg, and I think Michael Goldenberg is responsible for what we got, along with probably studio interference and the director for the 2011 movie. But what was that original script, and why, even though I'm not as big on Green Lantern, I'm passionate about highlighting that script, is because of its connection to the Arrowverse and how much I really loved reading that script before that movie came out, and then just the horror of seeing what it got turned into. Of being like, you sucked the soul out of everything that I read.
Have either of you watched the extended cut? Is that any better?
I did, yeah. I did. It's better in the sense that the scenes that they add are pretty good, but it's like an extra 8 minutes. Like, it's not really much. It's basically like, okay, instead of just flashbacks to how his dad died, you actually get to see the full on sequence of this is him as a kid, and this is his dad, and then this is him meeting young Carl Ferris, and then there's like a little bit more of a dynamic between him and his like little nephew in the so like it does add more to it. It does make it better, to the point where like when I was watching it, I was just like, oh, like this movie's not actually that bad. And then like Hector Hammond shows up, and I was like, never mind,
this movie fucking blows.
Yeah. It just basically gets worse as it goes on. But like the beginning, I was like, I don't hate the beginning. I think the beginning's great.
It sucks for me as a Green Lantern fan. Even growing up, like my first exposure to the character was in Justice League, the cartoon.
Yeah,
and I love just the concept of that character, that anything that you imagine you can create. Like, that's a cool concept for a superhero. So I've always loved Green Lantern, and watching that movie was just like, oh my God, why? Yeah, it was. I was like, why am I a Green Lantern fan for a little bit?
So why don't we go with the Patreon names and wrap this up? So Alex, as Stickley or the Hall of Justice guy, which would you like to be for these names?
Well, I'm going to mix it up and do the Arnold. Wait, can I do that? Hold on. Let me see if I can try to find the voice.
Done it before.
Please do that.
Come on.
Halsey D. Corbin. Slight rebellion off Madison. Super Inframan. Ha! Derek Osborne, Jason Price, Cyber 6, Nick Gonzalez, Devin, Benjamin Vega, Tito G, Ben Lee Page, CDX, Rolex, Michael Page, Nolan Moore, and Michael Scambati.
Oh my God.
Other supporters. I'll do this as Keaton, because Keaton's actually part of the Spider-Man universe.
Oh, there you go.
Just not in this movie.
Yeah.
Matt Herring, rest in peace. Leander Nicholson, Logan Wood, Neuverse Media, Triple Threat Comics, The Bat Feed, Aaron Quinn, at Prof. E. Chicano Batman, Rob Ailing, Robert Schumann, Sparkageddon, Cookie Noms, Elijah B, Shamrock Balls. It's funny to say in a Keaton voice. Balls.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah. Ian H, Walter the Wobot, John Wells, Rye Guy, Jackson Putnam, Tway N, at Stagebat, at W.Media, Paul G, Sean Willits, Ruben A, Eat I, Mind Kidzag, Cole Watkins, at Ye Old King _ Creative Sparrow.
YOLO King.
Knew you were going to say that. Drew and Neil at 1995 Batman. Cinephile Video, Tyler Sandifer, and Evan Z. Join us at patreon.com/superhero_SYSK. We made it, guys. We made it to the end of the supersized episode, but it was worth it. I had a lot of fun.
It was. I had a lot of fun too. Thank you guys once again for having me.
Bed, man. It's midnight.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna go eat some cheeseburgers.
Some chicken wings.
Well,
maybe chicken wings if I have any. Or a sandwich.
Why don't you do us a favor? Why don't you tell all your friends about us?
Come on.
What are we? I'm Ben Wan.
I'm Gross Spots.
And I'm Mediocre Spider Script.
And we are Superhero Stuff You Should Know.